Hong Kong movie I Am the Black Dragon King Part 3. The news that the match with Lianxing was settled soon spread throughout Hong Kong Island. But not long after the news came out, another more eye-catching news attracted the topic. Alou became Dumbledore's godson. Everyone in the world knows that Alou likes to adopt a godson the most. Any younger brother he likes will be adopted as a godson. Unexpectedly, after a round of gatherings, he actually recognized himself as a godfather, which made the people in the world not sure how to evaluate him for a while. Big D, who was playing golf, was stunned for a moment when he heard the news from Chang Mao, and then showed an incredible look on his face. "What are you talking about? That guy Alou has accepted Uncle Deng as his godfather. Is this news accurate? It's been confirmed. Ali's side has been preparing to serve wine for the past 2 days. Ha! Big D couldn't help laughing and said, "A person who is used to being someone else's father will actually become someone else's son. This country turtle is really a tortoise, he can shrink and stretch." He started to play tricks outside the competition when he couldn't compete. He even used tricks like recognizing his father. "It's better to recognize me than Uncle Deng. If I want to be his father, maybe I'll be in a good mood and won't argue with my son anymore, ha 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 ha." Although Big D is not as smart as Alou, he is not stupid, otherwise he would not be where he is today. Alou accepted Deng Bo as his godfather, and he knew what his intention was. He just wanted to prepare for the competition to sit in the next tournament. If it had been before, after Alou played this trick, he would have to find a way to find a godfather to compete with him. But after what happened to Chen Hailung, he had seen the true nature of his uncle, and he no longer cared about what those old guys thought. "Regardless of him, even if he wants to recognize Grandpa, it has nothing to do with us, just let him go." Big D threw the club in his hand to Chang Mao, hugged Sister D and said, "What do you want to eat today? How was the neon restaurant last time?" On the other side, Chen Hailung was practicing shooting in the shooting range renovated from the warehouse. This warehouse was newly renovated by him, and sound insulation devices were added inside and outside. As long as the door is closed, even if a heavy machine gun is scanned inside, no sound can be heard outside. The purpose of transforming this place was not only to practice his own spear, but also to train his servants. Naturally, the servant boy has nothing to say about his bare hands and cold weapons. Even 5 or 6 short meals are no match for the servant boy. But if the other party gets a firearm, it's hard to say. Therefore, these servants must also be trained in this area, so that they can hit the target without asking, at least they must use it flexibly. Boom! 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 The bullets fired from the firearm in Chen Hailung's hand, whether it was a 10-meter target, a 20-meter target, or a 50-meter target, basically every shot hit the bullseye. The Black Tiger King, with a group of subordinates guarding him, stood silently, with only one gunshot after another in the shooting range. When Zhang Mitzi arrived, he saw the boss shooting, but he didn't come forward to disturb him, and waited silently. It wasn't until Chen Hailung finished practicing his spear that he stepped forward this time. "Boss! What's going on? Alou recognized Uncle Deng as his godfather." Chen Hailung raised his eyebrows. "Lin Huaila is too thoughtful and has no bottom line in what he does. Even an old guy like Uncle Deng can accept him as his godfather. The situation in this life will only be that big. He likes to be a bitch to others. It has nothing to do with me. You don't need to pay attention to him." At the same time, outside an exquisite French manor in the Golden Sanjiao area, Lin Kuan and his younger brother sat on an off-road vehicle, waiting for the inspection of the villa and estate. Golden Sanjiao is located in Southeast Asia. It is named because it is at the junction of Siam, Myanmar and Laos. The traffic here is congested, the mountains are overlapping, and the total area is about 200,000 square kilometers. Because of the long sunshine, low latitude, and high humidity climate, it is very easy for animals and plants to grow and reproduce here, thus forming an important production area for the production of number 4. In addition, regardless of geographical factors, the situation of warlord separatism in the area was fostered. Although due to area restrictions, only 20% of the world's contraband is grown here. The total amount of number 4 traffic through this place every year reaches about 70% of the world's. As the number 4 demolisher on Hong Kong Island, Lin Kun's purpose of coming here is self-evident. Due to the perennial wars in Jinsanjiao, all warlords attach great importance to their own safety. Even a well-known demolisher like Lin Kun will inevitably be inspected before entering. The guards conducted extremely strict inspections. Not only did they require everyone to get out of the car and conduct a detailed inspection inside the car, they also used long-handled mirrors to carefully scan the bottom of the car to avoid missing any possible dangers. After checking the vehicle, the guard came to them and said in half-baked Cantonese, "Please hand over the weapons you are carrying." "Okay." Lin Kun knew the rules here and had no doubts about it. He handed over all the firearms and knives he carried to the guards. "Boss, do we really hand over all our weapons?" asked the younger brother. "Do not talk nonsense." Lin Kun looked at his younger brother with a smile on his face and said, "This is their territory. If you really want to do anything to us, if you think the firearms can be useful, take them out as soon as possible." After the guard collected all the weapons in a phone box, he handed Lin Kun a sign and said, "When you leave, take your weapons with the sign." "Okay." Lin Kun responded with a smile and a nod. After the guard signaled to the watchtower at the entrance of the villa, the heavy machine gun on the watchtower moved its muzzle away. However, this was only the first door. After that, Lin Kun and his party drove the car and opened another door. After 2 inspections, we finally arrived at the villa. However, the villa is still a post every 3 steps and a sentry every 5 steps. There are guards with guns and live ammunition everywhere as far as you can see. And looking at the aura exuding from each one, you can tell that they are all here. He was a killer who had actually been on the battlefield. The person who came to greet Lin Kun was a strong man over 1.8 meters tall, with dark skin and wearing a military uniform. Lin Kun had been in contact with him before coming and knew that he was the real master of this time. Colonel Butte, San's right-hand man. "Hello, Colonel Butt." "Mr. Lin. This journey must be quite hard." Butte held Lin Kun's outstretched hand and greeted him. "Fortunately, except that the road is a bit difficult to walk, there is nothing else. The road to get here is not difficult to describe." After they arrived at the border of Jinsanjiao, they changed to several modes of transportation. First they walked blindfolded for a while by car, and then they took an elephant to cross the river again. After walking for a while, we finally switched to the off-road vehicle. But even so, the guards did not take the inspection of the vehicle lightly. From this point alone, we can see how much Kunsha attaches great importance to his own safety. "You are taking the land route. It will be much more comfortable if you take the water route. Next time you come again, I will arrange a helicopter to pick you up. Then I'll thank you in advance," Lin Kun said with a smile. "You're welcome, Mr. Kunsha is still waiting for you, let's go in first." "Okay, don't keep Mr. Kunsha waiting." Kunsha's manor has many bunkers, watchtowers and dormitories around the main building, which looks like a small military base. After following Butte, and walking all the way to the main building, Lin Kun finally saw this time the main host Kun Sha. When they entered, Kun Sha was sitting on the main sofa drinking red wine. When he saw them coming in, he immediately stood up and saluted with his hands clasped together, and then gestured. "Mr. Lin, please sit down." Kun Sha is about 40 or 50 years old, with some gray hair. He is dressed in simple linen clothes and a pair of slippers that look very cheap at first glance. He doesn't look like a majestic man at all. Especially the way he speaks, where you laugh first, the calm demeanor is just like the kind of local residents who believe in Buddhism and are kind to others that can be seen everywhere in the streets of Southeast Asia. If you didn't know his identity and meet him by chance on the street, it would be impossible to recognize such a person. Will be a warlord who controls a large area of Jinsanjiao planting area. "Hello, Mr. Kunsha." Lin Kun followed local etiquette, put his hands together and saluted, and then sat down. "Mr. Lin, what do you like to drink, coffee, tea, or juice?" "No need to bother, I can do anything," Lin Kun said politely. "Then have tea." Kunsha said with a smile, then turned to the servant in the villa and said, "Go and make 2 cups of tea." Well, good tea. I have never tasted tea of this quality in Hong Kong Island, but I didn't expect to taste it at General's place. What kind of tea is this? Lin Kun asked. I don't know either. It's a gift from a customer. If you like it, I'll give it to you later. Thank you. I have no other hobbies except drinking tea, Lin Kun said with a smile. Did you come to see me this time for something? Kun Sha asked. He has cooperated with Lin Kun many times. Although they make many phone calls every year, they don't meet many times due to identity issues. This time Lin Kun took the initiative to ask for a meeting, which made him a little strange. This year, General Ali's production has dropped sharply due to heavy rains, and the goods produced are simply not enough, so I want to get 300 million more goods from you. I don't know if it is convenient or not. General Ali is another warlord, but the area controlled by that guy is relatively far away from Kunsha, and there is no conflict between the two. No. For demolition house like Lin Kun will not only purchase goods from only one company can enter, otherwise if something goes wrong, it will be a small loss if there is no goods, but a big loss of customers. However, the quantity produced by these manufacturers every year is fixed, especially when prices have risen in recent years. They often have not yet before production. Demolishers from all over the world had already paid deposits and reserved the required quantity. General Ali's place was short of harvest, which made Lin Kun very nervous, so he came to ask for goods today. Kun Sha, regardless of the planting area under his control, his strength is much stronger than that of General Ali. The 300 million goods cannot be handed over to General Ali, but it is not a big problem here in Kunsha. There is no problem with the goods worth 300 million yuan. Lin Kun, who was overjoyed when he heard this, was about to put his hands together to thank him, but was interrupted by Kun Sha waving his hand. Don't be in a hurry to thank me first, just listen to what I have to say before I finish. You say, I can give you the goods, but I don't want cash, but barter. Bartering? Lin Kun is a little unclear. The situation in Jinsanjiao has been a bit tense recently. Siam, Lao, and Myanmar have all begun to crack down on our plantations. Although they dare not send troops over, they can prevent the inflow of materials. I have so many soldiers under my command, and the cost of food and drink every day is an astronomical figure. Those 3 countries have blocked land routes, preventing me from purchasing supplies in large quantities. Now I am in urgent need of all kinds of daily necessities. Therefore, I need you to find a way to smuggle supplies in exchange for number 4. Although Jinsanjiao is very suitable for farming, almost all the land that can be grown is planted with contraband, so it is naturally impossible to grow food. Now, with such a blow from several governments, these warlords in the Jinsanjiao area have become they are all a bit numb. Their soldiers and farmers need to consume a lot of food items every day. Although their stockpiles are enough to last for a few months, if they have no channels to purchase, they will be dragged to death sooner or later. This, my business, has nothing to do with any of this. Lin Kun looked a little confused. You are not related, but Hong Kong Island is related. As one of the global free trade ports, Hong Kong Island is easy to get any materials. If you are inconvenient to transport them, you can contact me, a smuggler. Money is not an issue. Hearing this, Lin Kun breathed a sigh of relief. This is no problem, I can help you contact. Then I wish us happy cooperation. Happy cooperation. Actually, Lin Kun knows in his heart that if he transports the materials needed by Kunsha to Jinsanjiao, he can make more money. But his business is extremely risky, and he is extremely cautious in doing things, including delivery, warehouse, sub-packaging, and transshipment all operate independently, and they do not know each other, let alone have any intersection. This is done to ensure safety, and extremely safety. Therefore, even if the materials are sold to Kunsha, although he had made a lot of money, he would not take the risk to do it himself. Instead, he planned to hand over the business to others and minimize his participation. 3 days later, Lin Kun returned to Hong Kong Island. After getting off the plane, he went straight home for dinner. How was the business discussion going this time? His wife came out of the kitchen carrying food with a big belly. I've told you a long time ago that just let the servants do these things. Your belly is so big, what if you bump into it? Lin Kuan took the dinner plate and said distressfully. What are you afraid of? This is not the first time I am pregnant with a child. I know my body well. In addition to the one in his wife's belly, Lin Kuan also has 2 daughters. The eldest daughter is already in middle school. You just don't listen to advice. After Lin Kuan helped his wife sit down, he continued. This business negotiation went pretty smoothly. You know, I have good relations with those generals. This little thing is not a problem at all. After dinner, Lin Kuan called his subordinate Agio. Agio is responsible for delivering goods under him. He runs on the streets every day and is relatively well informed. He came to him just to ask who are the most powerful smugglers in Hong Kong Island. After Agio came over, he took Agio to the study room to drink tea for a while before getting to the point. Agio, do you know who are the most powerful smugglers in Hong Kong Island now? It depends on what is being smuggled. Different smugglers smuggle different goods, so they cannot be compared together. When the smuggling business is broken down, Lin Kuan's business can be considered one of them, and he is also one of the 4 most powerful smugglers on Hong Kong Island. But if he is asked to smuggle something else, he would be a complete layman. So, even if it is smuggling, it depends on what is being smuggled. Daily necessities, Lin Kuan replied. Hearing this category, Agio thought for a while and said, in this category, only Helian Sheng's Kaishenlong is the most powerful. He has a wide range of connections and sufficient supply of goods. He just shipped it some time ago. I ordered a large batch of goods to go to the mainland. How is the reputation of this wealth dragon? There is no problem with his credibility. He made his fortune through smuggling and has never heard any negative news in this regard. Hearing this, Lin Kuan thought for a moment and said, Please help me contact him. I want to meet him tomorrow. I have a business to discuss with him. Okay, boss. Chen Hailung is very keen on exercise. In addition to exercising in the gym at the entrance of the hall, he also swims from time to time. But he likes larger swimming pools and has little interest in the small swimming pool at home. So, basically every once in a while, he would go to the swimming pool for a good swim. He swam just like he did when eating. He didn't like to be disturbed. Every time he came, the swimming pool was reserved, and the water in the pool had to be replaced with new ones. A lot. People don't know that the water in the swimming pool looks clear, but it is actually filtered repeatedly in real time. The water in the swimming pool is often not changed every 10 days and a half. Who knows what is in it? Because of his request, the pool is reserved every time. All need to be done in advance, otherwise it will be too late to change the water. Today Chen Hailung came to the swimming pool where he often went. The Black Tiger King and his younger brother were guarding the pool as usual. After swimming for a while, he saw Jimmy appeared at the swimming pool. Generally speaking, if Jimmy had nothing to do, he would not bother him at all. If he showed up, he must be looking for something. Swimming is not like other sports. You can finish the exercise in one go, and then talk about other things. After swimming 2 laps, when Chen Hailung came ashore to rest, he took the towel from his younger brother, wiped his body, and asked me, Zai, is this the case? Lin Kuan's younger brother in North Point contacted me and said that Lin Kuan has a business he wants to discuss with you. North Point Lin Kuan? Chen Hailung is a little unfamiliar with this name. In fact, it is not surprising that he is unfamiliar with Lin Kuan. Although Lin Kuan is the 4th demolition family, he has little connection with traditional societies and does not occupy any land. Freight, when he comes back, he will be split and distributed to customers. He will not be involved or care about what the customers do. Many distributors don't even know what they look like, let alone Chen Hailung, who has never done this kind of business. Who is this guy? Chen Hailung asked. House demolition on the 4th. Hearing this answer made Chen Hailung even more curious. All the associations in Hong Kong knew that he was not involved in that business, so a demolition house came to discuss business with him, which made him curious about what he wanted to discuss with him. In the Ni family's old house, when the Ni brothers and sisters saw Ni Yongshao coming back, they immediately seemed to have found their backbone. "Ah Shao, great, you are finally back!" Ni Yongzhong stepped forward and hugged him. "Second brother, my father is dead and our family's property has been robbed. We must avenge our father and take back our property. Ah Shao, our family depends entirely on you." Facing such a scene with his family, Ni Yongshao remained as calm as ever. "I will avenge my father. You don't have to worry. If you lose the land, you will lose it. Our family controls the channels for selling goods, so there will be no impact. I have to say that it is not unreasonable for Ni Kun to choose Ni Yongshao as his successor." In just a few words, Ni Yongshao calmed down his family. "Sister, please cook me something to eat, I'm a little hungry." Ni Yongzhen heard this and quickly replied, "Oh, okay, I'll prepare it right now." The current situation of the Ni family is that, except for the younger brother who is loyal to the Ni family, all the other family doctors, servants, cooks, etc. have run away. Although the Ni family is a Hedao family, it is not easy to force ordinary people continue to serve their family, so they ordered takeout from restaurants outside for the past 2 days. But it was hard for Ni Yongshao to order out for the first meal when he returned home. Although Ni Yongzhen has not touched Yancheng water for many years, the Ni family before he became successful, he also took good care of Ni Yongshao. Cooking was not too difficult for her. At the dinner table, Ni Yongshao said while eating, "I already understand the current situation. You don't need to be in such panic all day long. Although our Ni family's territory has been taken away by Lianqing Qianlong, we have no direct conflict with him, and he will not pay attention to us. What should you do? What are you doing? Don't worry about him coming to your door. If the God of Wealth Dragon wants to attack our family, I'm afraid that everyone in our family will go to see my father now. Our current enemy is Han Chen, and I decided to send out a secret reward of 5 million to Han Chen's 5 or 6, 7 heads. Everyone in the Ni family has no objection to this. It is true that Chen Heilung robbed their family's territory, but they did not take it from them. And with Chen Heilung's current power in Hong Kong Island, they will not come here. It would be good to cause trouble for them. How dare they tease Chen Heilung's tiger beard? They are also afraid that someone will dig a hole and bury him in the middle of the night. As for Han Chen, that is someone who must be eliminated in their family, not to mention that they believe that the murderer who killed their father was Han Chen. Just the matter of robbing their family's territory later made them want to fight to the death. In their eyes, Han Chen had always been a dog raised by their father, but now this dog actually, if you dare to bite your master back, if you don't kill him, the evil spirit in your heart will never go away. Third uncle. Ni Yongshao turned to look at the third uncle of the Ni family and said, "I'm not familiar with the underground society in Hong Kong Island, so I'll leave the secret affair to you." "No problem, I'll take care of it." Although the Ni family has lost all their territory now, the wealth they have accumulated from being in the number 4 business for so many years cannot be underestimated. Not to mention the 5 million hidden expenses, even if the price is 10 times higher, it is nothing to the Ni family. It's just that the current situation of the Ni family shouldn't be so high profile. But Ah Shao. The third uncle looked at Ni Yongshao and said, "The current situation is still very dangerous for our Ni family. Our Ni family controls a large number of customer channels and has accumulated a lot of money with number 4. These things are very dangerous for other societies. The temptation is not small. If they cannot find a strong backer, the Ni family will soon be approached by those who covet it. Now our Ni family only has about 100 brothers, and there is no way we can stop these hyenas." The words of the third uncle of the Ni family are not alarmist. The Ni family fell so fast that those who coveted it failed to react. Before they could take the opportunity to get a share of the pie, He Lianqing took away the territory. But it was precisely because of He Lianqing the existence of the Ni family made them dare not act rashly for the time being, but the third uncle knew that Chen Heilung was not interested in their family's business, and most likely he would not pay attention to the old, weak, sick and disabled people in the Ni family. By then, those who were hiding in the dark, the hyenas will pounce on their minions in 2 places to squeeze out the most valuable thing of the Ni family. I have a solution for this matter. Third uncle, you call Bobby and invite him to come to our house. Ni Yongshao said calmly. Yes. When Bobby received the call from his third uncle, he didn't want to come over. With the current situation of the Ni family, anyone with a discerning eye knows that the Ni family is probably going to end, and this matter also involves Chen Heilung. Last time he saw Chen Heilung, he was so ruthless that he dared to take people to Taigua to confront his boss, the Eight-Faced Buddha. His attitude towards such ruthless people was to stay as far away as possible. But in the end, he still nodded and agreed to meet. After all, the Ni family has cooperated with the Eight-Faced Buddha for many years. Even if the Ni family does not care about the collapse of the building, they still have to take into account the attitude of other partners in Hong Kong. They should not make things too ugly, but at least make things passable. Bobby came. The Ni family is still the same living room where he met Ni Kun last time, but the person he met became Ni Kun's son, which made him somewhat sad. Mr. Ni, I feel deeply sorry for your father. After working with your father for so many years, we are considered old friends. If there is anything I can do to help, just ask. Bobby stopped talking when he came up. There is no problem in helping, but it must be within his ability, and it is for the sake of your father's face. If the request is too much, then I can only apologize. Ni Yongshao heard this. He smiled lightly and said, Just in time, I do have something to ask Mr. Bobby. Our Ni family hopes to take refuge in the Eight-Faced Buddha. Please convey this to me. Bobby was obviously stunned when he heard this. He had thought of many possibilities before coming, but he never thought that Ni Yongshao would say this. As the saying goes, it is better to be the head of a chicken than the tail of a phoenix. No matter how bad the Ni family is, defeat, where is the foundation? Even if it cannot reach the level when Ni Kun was alive, it is still better than surrendering to the actual forces and becoming a vassal. You sure? Bobby said with a hint of shock. I am sure. Ni Yongshao smiled and nodded. So, please trouble Mr. Bobby. I need a quieter room, call Lord Buddha, Bobby said. No problem. Ni Yongshao turned to his third uncle and said, Third uncle, take Mr. Bobby to the study. Okay. The third uncle nodded and signaled to Bobby. Mr. Bobby, please come with me. After the third uncle took Bobby to the study, he closed the door and stood outside. Bobby in the study took out his phone and called Taigua Eight-Faced Buddha. Bobby, what's the matter with you calling me at this time? Lord Buddha, it's like this. Something has happened on Hong Kong Island these days. Bobby told the Eight-Faced Buddha in detail what had happened to the Ni family in the past few days, and then mentioned that Ni Yongshao wanted to bring the Ni family to join them. The Eight-Faced Buddha on the other end of the phone was obviously moved when he heard that the Ni family wanted to join him. Although the Ni family's territory was gone, that was a small matter in his opinion. Their business was not based on how much territory they had anyway. He is not very strong in Hong Kong Island. There is only one Bobby who is acting as an agent. Bobby is from Taigua and has no foundation in Hong Kong Island. He only has dozens or hundreds of subordinates under him. In terms of connections, status and influence, their strength is definitely far worse than that of the Ni family. Even though the Ni family may fall apart now, even a broken ship still has its flaws. The Ni family has been operating on Hong Kong Island for so long, not to mention the personal network. The customer resources in hand are a considerable fortune. If the Ni family can be supported as his office on Hong Kong Island, it will be of great help to his business. And if under normal circumstances, the Ni family didn't change so quickly, even if he wanted to get involved, it would be impossible for him to get involved. It is guaranteed that the Ni family would have to be divided up by the societies in Hong Kong before he received the news. What's more, taking over the Ni family is equivalent to driving a nail into Chen Heilung's lair. He has not forgotten how Chen Heilung took Sichuan port from him. Now the Ni family has taken the initiative to send it to his door. Such a good opportunity, he didn't plan to miss it. Of course, he also knows that the NI family's surrender to him is just a temporary measure, and they want to find a backer for themselves, but he doesn't care. Cooperation can only be achieved when both parties have their own goals, otherwise why would they ask you to cooperate? Tell NI Yongxiao that I accept his surrender, and you also release the news in the world of Hong Kong Island, saying that the NI family will be the office of my eight-faced Buddha in Hong Kong Island from now on. Clear, Lord Buddha, Bobby responded. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Although Bobby has no foundation in Hong Kong Island, he is also a member of the Eight-Faced Buddha after all, and the news released will naturally have a certain influence. Especially those groups that coveted the NI family's business. In less than a day, those coveting people hiding in the dark dispersed one after another. Those groups that secretly stared at the NI family's business were all engaged in number 4 business. Naturally, no one wanted to offend. After all, the Eight-Faced Buddha has a huge influence in Southeast Asia. If they dare to get the attention of the NI family, the Eight-Faced Buddha is not a good man or woman. Not everyone is as awesome as Chen Hailung. If they were able to fight head-on with the Eight-Faced Buddha, if it were them, they would be defeated by the Eight-Faced Buddha in one round. On the other hand, after Han Chen escaped from the NI family's territory, he was worried for a whole day and found out after He Lianxing stopped chasing him. He finally felt relieved. Knowing the outcome of the NI family's 4 kings made him extremely grateful for his decision that night. Fortunately, he realized something was wrong early and made arrangements. Otherwise this would happen. I'm afraid I'll have to go downstairs to reunite with those 4. Compared to the NI family, his situation is actually much better. At least no one outside is coveting the few resources he has. He relies on the existing resources. Whether he sets up his own business or joins other societies, he can get along very well. The only thing that makes him feel regretful is that he cannot keep the NI family's territory. Otherwise, it will save him at least 10 years of hard work. However, his mentality can be regarded as open-minded, not too pushy, and still in the mood to ask Chen Shan to have hot pot together. Ah Shan, I have to respect you for whatever this glass of wine says. In that situation, you still dared to take me in. You didn't say anything. We will be good brothers for life. After Han Chen finished speaking, he downed the glass of wine in front of him. When Han Chen fled and sought asylum from Chen Shan arranged for him to be in a safe house without saying a word. No one had any idea at that time, and no one knew what would happen next. What will be the reaction from He Lianxing? Chen Shan sheltering him is equivalent to putting himself in danger. Han Chen must recognize this love. Brother Chen, what you said is obvious. When something happened to me, you were still so supportive of me. If we don't even have this responsibility as a brother, why should I be a brother with you? Good brother, let's not talk anymore. We both have to get drunk today. While the two were drinking happily, Chen Shan's younger brother suddenly ran in and whispered to Chen Shan. Han Chen saw the change in Chen Shan's face and couldn't help but curiously asked, "What's wrong? Did something happen?" NI Kun's second son NI Yongxiao has returned from the Bad Kingdom. He has taken refuge in the Eight-Faced Buddha of the Tai Kingdom and has issued a hidden reward of 5 million for your head. Hearing this, Han Chen's face immediately became solemn. He has followed NI Kun for so many years, and he naturally knows that the second child of the NI family is not as useless as his idiot brothers. Although NI Yongxiao seems to have not participated in the NI family's affairs in these years, business, but Han Chen knew very well that many of NI Kun's major decisions were made by NI Yongxiao with the help of his staff. To a certain extent, NI Yongxiao's role in the glory of the NI family before its collapse was no more important than that of NI Kun's. Mr. Kun. And judging from his quick reaction when he came back this time, we knew how difficult this guy was. If he hadn't taken refuge in the Eight-Faced Buddha, he could have killed the whole NI family with just some of his younger brothers. All the hidden flowers with a reward have been killed, and the reward is naturally gone. But now that guy has taken refuge in the Eight-Faced Buddha. With his strength, even if he meets him head-on, he does not dare to touch him. How can we play in a place of defeat? He is not worried about the 5 million bonus. Ni Yongxiao can make hidden tricks, so can he? In the worst case, they can face each other. There are always those who are bold and dare to take action. But the problem is, Ni Yongxiao's there is an 8-faced Buddha supporting him, but there is no one behind him. The only solution now is to find a backer like Ni Yongxiao, otherwise he will be killed by Ni Yongxiao sooner or later. The only non-bird in Hong Kong dares to confront the 8-faced Buddha. The only one is Chen Hailung, but his relationship with Chen Hailung is not good, and they have no obligation to help him. Even if he wants to go there, Chen Hailung is not in the number 4 business, and he can't come up with anything that can make people excited. Why would he take him in as a bargaining chip? After thinking about it, the only choice he could make now was Zhang Xinyi. Zhang Xinyi was in the same business as the Ni family. He knew all the channels of the Ni family. He believed if he uses these as bargaining chips, Lian Haolong will definitely agree to his surrender. "Brother Long, do you have time today? I want to have a dinner with you." Lian Haolong has actually been quite unhappy these past 2 days. He was supposed to earn a profit without losing any support, but because of Lianxing's intervention, he gained nothing and lost a lot of his subordinates. Even Luo Tiahong was hospitalized. Don't expect to be discharged from the hospital in less than 10 days and a half. Every time a little brother dies, there will be a settlement fee, plus the medical expenses for injuries and miscellaneous other expenses. It will cost at least 7 to 8 million. This amount, although Han Chen recognized the money, it was not easy to make up for the lost brothers. This time he sent all loyal elite brothers to help Han Chen. This loss cannot be measured by money at all. It happened that he wanted to talk to Han Chen when Chen said this. Han Chen called and he naturally agreed to meet. "If you have time, see you in the evening." After the two parties met in the evening, Han Chen directly expressed his demands for 4.2 without beating around the bush. "Brother Long, Ni Yongxiao's tricks really make it impossible for me to deal with it, so I have no choice but to come to you." Lian Haolong didn't expect that Han Chen wanted to meet him for this matter. He already admired Han Chen and felt that Han Chen was affectionate and righteous. He would suffer a loss by supporting Han Chen. Although he was a little unhappy, he did not express his anger. It's Han Chen's fault. After all, this kind of thing is just like doing business. There are losses and profits. He and Lianxing's intervention is force majeure. It can only be said that they are very unlucky. Now that Han Chen is coming to seek refuge with him, he should immediately ask him to turn his original. He swallowed what he wanted to tell Han Chen. The loss of the elite younger brother was far less than the benefit of Han Chen joining him. Ni Kun had already handed over the Ni family's business to Han Chen for management when he was still alive. They hold a large amount of customer resources in their hands. For number 4 demolishers like them, nothing is more important than customer resources. It can even be done without an upstream company, but it is absolutely impossible to be without a downtrodden company. After all, no matter how good the goods from the upstream company are, you have to find someone to take over. As for the 8-faced Buddha that Ni Yongxiao took refuge in, Lian Haolong didn't care. The conflict between Han Chen and the Ni family has nothing to do with the 8-faced Buddha. Besides, this is Hong Kong Island, and it's not too as long as there is no direct conflict with the 8-faced Buddha. He is not afraid of what the 8-faced Buddha will do. Even if the Ni family stirs up trouble, the most they can do is restrict the supply of goods to him. The problem is that his goods are not destined for the 8-faced Buddha channel, but to sell goods directly from Jin Sanjiao. Even if the 8-faced Buddha wants to restrict it, he can't stretch his hand that far. It can only have advantages and no disadvantages, so Lian Haolong naturally cannot refuse to agree. "You are welcome to join Zhang Xinyi. We will be a family from now on. If anyone can't get along with you, he can't get along with us, Zhang Xinyi." Han Chen and the Ni family, who each had a backer, would attack each other for a period of time, either by offering secret rewards or by hiring thieves. Unfortunately, these two families still have no territory and can only attack each other's core members. However, these two families live deep in the compound and have no extra relatives. They have been quarreling for more than half a month, but they have not been able to do anything to each other. The eight-faced Buddha and Zongxinyi behind the two families were not too involved in this matter. The eight-faced Buddha only wanted to use the Ni family's personal network and did not want to cause trouble in Hong Kong Island. Anyway, the blood feud of the Ni family, it's the Ni family's business and has nothing to do with him. As for Zongxinyi, he has a similar mentality. Although Zongxinyi is not afraid of the eight-faced Buddha when playing at home, he has no intention of provoking more opponents for himself. The grievances between Han Chen and the Ni family are Han Chen's own business, and even Haolong will not care about it. Without the participation of powerful forces, no matter how much trouble these two make, they will not make much waves. Although every time they make a fuss, the result is always loud thunder but little rain. At first, various forces in Hong Kong paid attention to their fight. As a result, as time went by, the number of followers gradually decreased, and the two families seemed to find that it was not a problem, and gradually reduced the frequency of attacking each other. After all, when both sides are on alert, even if they want to carry out assassinations, it will not be that easy, and their men are not as elite as Chen Hailung's men. Ordinary short mules, even if they want to carry out assassinations, they are not that professional. And they all need a bunch of people now, and they can't work all day long. So can they still do business? As for the snipe and clam quarrel between the two families, Chen Hailung, who ended up getting the better of the fishermen, no longer pays attention to them. After taking over Tsim Sha Tsui, Chen Hailung bought a seaview villa covering an area of more than 3,000 square meters in the seaside area of Tsim Sha Tsui. This villa has 2 floors below ground and 3 floors above ground, with a usable area of more than 3,000 square meters. As people in Hong Kong often say, converted to a 1,000-foot mansion, the living area of this villa alone is as much as 30 or 40,000-foot mansions. A 1,000-foot mansion on Hong Kong Island refers to 1,000 square feet. If converted into square meters, a 1,000-foot mansion is more than 90 square meters. There are garages on the ground and underground of the villa. The underground garage can park more than a dozen SUVs. In addition to the garage, there is also a helicopter landing pad and an infinity swimming pool covering an area of 400 to 500 square meters in the villa yard. In the swimming pool, a group of young and beautiful beauties in bikinis were playing with Chen Hailung in the water, touching Chen Hailung from time to time. After all, Chen Hailung's strong and iron figure also made these women very greedy. These beauties wearing 3-point bikinis are basically models 26 or 3rd and 4th tier starlets. Modeling agencies in Hong Kong need to have associations as backers to operate. Some of these modeling agencies even have shares in Ni. Choose something beautiful for Brother Hailung from time to time. With Chen Hailung's current power, there is no need to ask. The very colorful Jean Mi and those economic companies will take the initiative to select some beauties to accompany them. And these beauties are not resistant to this, and they are eager to accompany a big man like Chen Hailung. Man, sometimes in order to compete for the right to come to Chen Hailung's villa, young models will even give their opponents some trouble. At this time, Chen Hailung was playing around with some particularly attractive beauties, and Jimmy Zai came to the swimming pool. "Boss! Go and play by yourselves first." After Chen Hailung patted the beautiful woman next to him, he went ashore, put on his bathrobe, sat down on a beach chair by the swimming pool, and asked Meet Sai, "What's going on?" "Boss, Director Su from the mainland purchased a batch of computers from the island country and needs us to transport them to the mainland." At that time, island countries and other places had an embargo policy against the mainland. Many high-tech equipment or precision parts were not allowed to be sold to the mainland at all, and even if they were purchased, they would be restricted from being shipped out. The batch of things that Director Su purchased through special channels were purchased through formal. The channel cannot transport it away from the island country, let alone to the mainland. This is not the first time that Chen Hailung has helped Director Su transport such things. He already has a mature process, and he still has a good impression of the mainland in his heart. If I have a chance to help, I won't hesitate. Call the Black Wolf King and ask him to take people to the island country to pick up the goods, and directly and secretly use our own waterway to transport the goods there. Smuggling sounds simple, but it is not that easy at all. Take waterways as an example. Even though the sea is so vast and boundless, ships have fixed waterways just like vehicles on land. However, the road for ships to travel should be wider. This is because the sea below is sometimes not as calm as the sea above. There are turbulences, rocks, and many other factors that will affect the safety of ship navigation. Therefore, during ocean transportation they all need to follow fixed waterways. Anti-smuggling at sea means checking and intercepting smuggling ships on these fixed waterways. But those anti-smuggling operations are like decorations to Chenhalung. The pirates eliminated by the Black Wolf King have a completely different route map from the mainstream. There is no possibility of being intercepted when taking those routes. Even if they are intercepted, with the firepower of Black Wolf King and others, it is not certain who will be killed by whom. Yes, boss, I will make arrangements right away. At the same time that Chenhalung arranged for the Black Wolf King to go to the island country to pick up the goods, Do was on his way to negotiate in Haojiang. His group of 4 or 5 cars and a dozen boys drove to a well-known restaurant in Haojiang, Jiazhongheshi Restaurant. This Western restaurant is located in the Seek Pai Wan Country Park in Haojiang. Just from its location, you can see the quality of this restaurant. Haojiang is a place where land is more valuable than Hong Kong Island. Every square kilometer of living with a population as high as 20,000, it has always ranked first among the cities with the highest population density in the world. The price of any meal in a garden-style restaurant in such a high-density city is several times or even dozens of times higher than elsewhere. But these are not suitable for Big D. It's just a small amount of money, nothing compared to what he invested before. During this period, in order to get the casino, Big D almost settled here in Haojiang, and he spent a lot of money. After waiting and waiting, he finally got the qualification to operate a gambling hall, but the gambling hall could not be transferred to his name. Today he was negotiating with the original owner of the gambling hall, Moro Bing Lai. Like Hong Kong Island, casinos like this business is controlled by societies. Haojiang society is mainly 14K, and most of them are 14K territory. Mo Luo Bing is the boss of Haojiang 14K. Another Bing Yaji used to be Moro Bing's younger brother, and now he is also 14K. Another hilltop. Ma Luobing owned a dozen gambling halls. A few months ago, Big D bought 3 from him through connections, intending to use them to expand his business projects, but the money was given to, but the gambling hall has never been transferred to him. Because of this matter, he has been very angry recently. When he arrived at the restaurant, after waiting for a long time, he saw Mo Luo Bing and several younger brothers Shi Shiran appear in the restaurant doorway. Mr. Mo! No matter how unhappy Big D was, he immediately put on a smile after seeing Moro Bing. Mo Luo Bing responded lightly, raising the corners of his mouth slightly. Big D, it costs you a lot to treat me to such a high-end place for dinner. Wherever I go, as Mr. Mo is in Haojiang, I think a place like this to accompany you is a bit inferior. If I have the opportunity to go to Hong Kong Island another day, I will definitely find a better place to entertain you. You're welcome. Mo Luo Bing said he was polite, but he didn't mean to be polite at all when he ordered the dishes. The 2-foot-long lobster, the double-headed abalone as big as a fist, the tianjiao wings that were comparable to gold, and even the accompanying wine. It's La Fight from 1982. This meal is conservatively estimated to cost tens of thousands, but no matter how much it costs, as long as things can be settled today, Big D thinks it's worth it. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 delicious dishes, Big D the topic leads to the main issue of this meeting. Mr. Mo, I wonder when the ownership of the 3 casinos I purchased from you will be transferred to me. Those 3 rooms. Mo Luo Bing showed a look of regret on his face. I can't transfer the ownership to you yet. Didn't I tell you last time? Some of the accounts of the 3 gambling halls have not been settled. Even if I transfer it to you first, the casino they won't allow it, otherwise if the debt is ruined, who should I ask for it from? Wait a minute, wait until I recover the accounts from those casinos and settle the accounts with the casinos, and then I can transfer them to you. The dozen or so gambling halls owned by Mo Luo Bing are not actually his assets. He only obtained the operating rights from the casino. By analogy, they are like shops in a shopping mall. The ownership of the shops belongs to the shopping mall. He only shares the rights with the shopping mall. The lessor who signed the contract actually transferred the operating rights of the 3 gambling halls bought by De Bing from Mo Luo Bing's name to his name. As for the matter of settling the accounts that Mo Luo Bing mentioned, it does exist in the casino, but that kind of situation is rare, and Big D has been waiting for a full 3 months. Every time Mo Luo Bing uses this excuse to excuse himself. To this day, if Big D can no longer see that Mo Luo Bing is if you play tricks on him, it will be a waste of all these years. But thinking that this is not his home court, he still calms down for the time being. Mr. Mo, can you give an approximate time? 1 month, 3 months, or half a year? Can you transfer the ownership of the casino to me? It's hard to say. The gambling hall is always in operation. Sometimes the previous accounts are cleared and new accounts are entered. How can I give you the exact time? If Mo Luo Bing was still lying before, this sentence has completely made it clear that he is making fun of people. If he were in Hong Kong Island, Big D would have overturned the table by now, but thinking about the other party's power in Haojiang, in addition, he also wanted to get the right to operate the gambling hall in the future, so he suppressed his anger and said, "In that case, please return the transfer fee I gave you, and I will find someone else to discuss the gambling hall. This is a bit difficult to handle. I invested all the transfer fee you gave me in the casino, and I really won't be able to get it out for a while. Otherwise, what do you think? I will owe it first, and wait until I have the money. I'll pay you back when the time comes." Snapped. As soon as these words came out, Big D couldn't help but burst out. "Mo, don't be so fucking shameless. Even if you delayed me for 3 months and refused to give me a gambling hall, you still want to play with me. With this set, do you really think you've got me? To read exciting novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Tisk." Mo Luo Bing picked his ears nonchalantly and said, "Why are you so loud? This is Haojiang, not your Hong Kong Island. You can't trick me with your power. I've already given you the solution. If you don't want to, I won't. Method. Okay. Big D laughed angrily and said, "Since you said that, we have nothing to talk about. Just wait for me. There will be a time when you regret it." "Okay, then I'll wait and see how I regret it." After saying that, Mo Luo Bing glanced at Big D contemptuously, got up and left with his men. His angry attitude almost overturned the table, and Mrs. D on the side quickly comforted her. There is no need to talk to him. Speaking of which, this Mo Luo Bing has made it clear that he is not sincere and just wants to blackmail us. Since he doesn't put credibility first, I don't have to be polite to him. I will send troops from Hong Kong Island later. If he doesn't give it, I will take it," Big D said bitterly. If it was not necessary, Big D wouldn't want to do that. After all, he wanted the casino to make money, not to fight with others. If it was too ugly, it would be detrimental to future business. But now it was clear that Mo Luo Bing was cheating him, and even if he accepted compensation, he had to vent his anger. When he was angry, Mo Luo Bing left the restaurant and sat in the car, lit a cigarette, and looked in the direction of the restaurant to rush to death. Minglong asked, "Are you all ready?" "Ready," Death Dragon replied. "Then let the people below take action, teach that guy a lesson, and let him know that Haojiang is not something people like them from Hong Kong can get involved in. A kid from Hong Kong still wants to come to Haojiang to make money, just dream." From the beginning, Mo Bing had no intention of transferring the ownership of the gambling hall to Big D. Due to the smaller geographical area, the strength of the community in Haojiang is not comparable to that in Hong Kong Island, so for the forces coming from Hong Kong Island, they have always kept it secret and tried their best to prevent the living space of local associations from being squeezed. This is why Big D has failed to make any achievements in Haojiang for so long because of several gambling halls. It is impossible for these associations in Haojiang to let him in Hong Kong Island. People intervened, but this guy Mo Luo Bing did it more decisively than the others. Not only did he not give Big D a chance to settle in, he also cheated Big D of 80 million. Now he wants to teach Big D a lesson and drive him out. Haojiang. Yes, boss. After the Death Dragon responded, he stretched his hand out of the car window and made a gesture. Immediately, a large number of knife men got out of the vans on both sides. There were more than 100 in number. Big D, who was cursing in the restaurant, seeing the short meal 790 appearing at the door of the restaurant, he immediately realized something was wrong, grabbed Mrs. D's arm and ran towards the back door. Get out quickly, that bastard Moro Bing wants to kill them all. Although Big D also brought a dozen younger brothers, they were not enough to watch in front of the more than 100 swordsmen of Mo Luo Bing. They were beaten back and forth, and fell down after a while. Damn it, Moro Bing, just wait for me! Big D roared. But it was useless no matter how loud his voice was now. Mo Luo Bing couldn't hear it at all, but even if he heard it, he probably wouldn't care much. Fortunately, Big D's bodyguards are pretty good. Under the desperate resistance of these bodyguards, they finally escaped to the car. At this time, only 5 or 6 of his dozen men were left, and everyone was injured, including Big D himself. In order to protect Sister D, was stabbed several times in the back, and his suit was stained red with blood. Brother, get in the car quickly! Chang Mao opened the door of the car. Big D didn't even think about it. He helped Mrs. D and climbed into the car. Chang Mao didn't even dare to stop at Haojiang while driving the car, and directly escorted Big D and his wife on the speedboat. Returned to Hong Kong Island. As soon as the news that Big D was killed in Haojiang came out, He Lianqing was in an uproar. No one would have thought that with He Lianqing's current reputation, the boss of his family would actually be seen in Haojiang. After receiving the news, Chen Heilong also took people to the hospital where Big D was staying to visit. Big D lying on the hospital bed was like making a rice dumpling, and his body was covered with bandage, but Mrs. D was fine under his protection. She only suffered a minor injury on her arm. Now her arm is in a plaster, and she is with Big D. Wealth Dragon! Seeing Chen Heilong come in, Big D greeted him. Chen Heilong nodded and asked, "What's going on with you? Tell me in detail." This time I was really embarrassed. Not only did I lose my own face, I also lost the face of the association. Big D looked ashamed. Let's get to the point, Chen Heilong said. I saw your business on Hong Kong Island getting more and more popular, so I thought I had to do something, so I went to Haojiang to rent a few casinos. Big D not only told the story in full, but also told his own thoughts. After all, in his opinion, if he and the Lianqing Club were to change their seats every 2 years, if they didn't start preparing in advance, I'm afraid it will be like last time, nothing can be caught. Now you have also seen that guy Ma Yuobing not only stole my money, but also wanted my life. Big D gritted his teeth and said, "It doesn't matter if I do this, but this time I have lost the face of the club." Speaking of this, he looked into Chen Heilong's eyes and said, "Kai Shenlong, you know that I don't like to ask for help, but today I want to ask you to help us and Lianqing regain face." Chen Heilong nodded and said, "Just rest in peace and recuperate, I will take care of it." Chen Heilong's face was a little gloomy when he came out of the hospital. No matter how Big D was also the leader of He Lianqing, he was teased like this in Haojiang, and it has become a joke in the world. The other party obviously didn't take them and Lianqing seriously. This is not a slap in the face of Big D, but a slap in the face of He Lianqing. As a long-established big club, He Lianqing has suffered a big loss this time. "John Mi!" Chen Heilong rushed to Zhang Mizai and said, "You send a message to Haojiang Moro Bing. We and Lianqing need an explanation." "Yes, boss." Zhang Mizai nodded and said with an ugly face. After all, he was also with Lianqing. Being slapped in the face with Lianqing was also a slap in his face. He didn't explain how the world would be embarrassed to say that he was with Lianqing in the future. At the same time, Kunsha was stationed in the Golden Sanjiachan state. Kunsha was standing in front of the sand table, conducting drills with his officers at all levels to improve the layout of his territory. Recently, the blockade of his territory by the 3 surrounding countries has become increasingly tight, and in some parts there have also been quite a few conflicts in the area, and even the lowest growers can feel the imminent storm. In order to prevent spies from the Three Kingdoms from sneaking into their territory, Khun Sha has recently asked his subordinates to increase inspections. If anyone who cannot prove their identity will be arrested immediately, and anyone who dares to resist will be shot and killed on the spot. But even if he takes all kinds of precautions, Khun Sha is still under a lot of pressure. After all, facing the pressure of the Three Kingdoms, everyone will have a headache. In the war room, the area around the sand table was already filled with smoke, and arguments broke out everywhere. I think an artillery battalion should be deployed at this pass. If they want to attack us, they must pass through this pass. The artillery battalion is set up on the top of the mountain and can effectively attack the enemy. What you said is simple. The artillery camp set up in this position can indeed hold the pass, but have you ever thought about it? This will expose the artillery camp to the enemy's sight. What if someone launches an air attack? The war hasn't officially started yet. The artillery camp is set up to prevent the opponent from using rat weapons. Then if a war breaks out, the artillery battalion will become a living target in the first round of attacks. While the officers below were arguing about how to arrange the defense strategy, Colonel Butt, who was under Khun Sha, entered the war room with a serious look on his face. Commander! Khun Sha saw Butte's face, and he vaguely guessed that there was some news coming. Is there any news from the Three Kingdoms? Yes. But nodded and said, the three countries of Myanmar, Taigwa, and Lao issued a joint statement in the media 10 minutes ago to launch a joint encirclement and suppression of our territory. This is the press release they issued. Khun Sha took the press release from Butte and looked at it with a sneer on his face. The stubborn problem of Jin Sanjiao has not been a problem for the Three Kingdoms for a day or two. In the past, the Three Kingdoms also carried out encirclement and suppression of Jin Sanjiao, but every time the results are not great at one time. Although the big and small warlords of Jin Sanjiao attack each other, when faced with the encirclement and suppression by the Three Kingdoms, they will temporarily put aside their disputes and join forces to fight against the Three Kingdoms, so that the Three Kingdoms often come back with confidence and return in disgrace. So the Three Kingdoms have also learned the lesson, and no longer target the entire Jin Sanjiao, but only target Khun Sha. After all, Khun Sha is the largest warlord in the Jin Sanjiao area. As long as Khun Sha is eliminated, it will be much easier to deal with other warlords in the future. This is the conspiracy of the Three Kingdoms. Even if some of the warlords can see the purpose of the Three Kingdoms, they must remain on the sidelines until the knife falls on their heads. They even want the Three Kingdoms to kill Khun Sha so that they can carve up the remaining territory of Khun Sha. The Three Kingdoms are coming fiercely this time. After seeing the joint statement, Khun Sha not only lost the headache he had before, but was aroused to be rebellious in his heart. Snapped! Khun Sha slapped the statement on the table and said angrily, the Three Kingdoms' encirclement and suppression, Buryan Dien, Taigwa, and Laowei are so majestic, so let them give it a try. Since they want to fight, then give them some color to see. Khun Sha, as the largest warlord of the Golden Tripod, is the only one among the Golden Tripods. He alone occupies 60 to 70% of the entire Golden Tripod territory. Even if he faces the Three Kingdoms' allied forces alone, he has sufficient confidence. On the other side, Hao in the Jiang Paramount Bathing Center, Missouri Luobing, who had just finished taking a bath, was lying on the sofa chair enjoying the massage service from a beautiful technician. He got 80 million from Big D and chopped people to pieces before escaping back to Hong Kong Island. His status in the world of Haojiang has been greatly improved, and many people are touting him. Originally, he was the biggest 14K hilltop in Haojiang, but now his voice and reputation in the world of Haojiang are even greater. Haojiang, because the area is small and there are too few resources, although some local associations are constantly fighting, their attitude towards outsiders is the same, and associations outside Haojiang are absolutely not allowed to plant their flags. In fact, some of the 14K groups in Haojiang are now the small societies under it all came from Hong Kong Island in the early days. They relied on their large number of people, money and ruthlessness to occupy a place in Haojiang. Even the largest society in Haojiang, 14K, respects them. Their status. It is precisely because of this that they understand the nature of Hong Kong Island communities better. If they dare to open an opening, it is guaranteed that Hong Kong Island communities will continue to pour in. Haojiang itself does not have many resources, and its population is even less than that of Hong Kong Island. The total number of people in Haojiang is not as large as the dwarf mules in the heyday of the community on Hong Kong Island. If outsiders get involved, local gangs like them will only be left to drink from the northwest wind. So Moro Bing this time he cheated Big D, which made him famous in the underground society of Haojiang, and he became the real brother of Haojiang. After all, He Lianqing is now very famous in Hong Kong Island, so He Lianqing's the leader of the real power faction was defeated in Haojiang, and all the societies in Haojiang felt honored. While Mo Luo Bing was enjoying the massage with his eyes closed, he heard the boy next to him saying hello. Brother Long. Hello, Brother Long. He opened his eyes and saw that his boss, Death Dragon, was coming. Boss. Death Dragon greeted. Mo Luo Bing responded quietly and continued to close his eyes and enjoy the massage. After Big D escaped back to Hong Kong Island, was there any reaction from Lianqing? I came here to tell you about this matter. I sent a verbal message to Lianqing Caishenlong, who was sitting in the hall, and asked us to give them an explanation, otherwise this matter will not be finished. When Mo Luo Bing heard this, a disdainful sneer appeared on his face. Give him an explanation. He really thinks he is so great, and only wants to show off his power in Hong Kong Island. He also wants to reach out to the Haojiang River. Do you know whose territory Haojiang belongs to? Ignore them, just think they are farting. If you have the ability, come to Haojiang and see if I don't beat that god of wealth dragon into a slug. Clear. Dead Life Dragon nodded. Not only Mo Luo Bing, but Death Dragon actually didn't care much about the ultimatum given by Chen Heilung. The environment in Haojiang is different from that of Hong Kong Island. Although the number of dwarf mules here is not as good as that of Hong Kong Island, but everyone is a ruthless person. After all, guarding such a cornucopia of casinos, if you are not ruthless, you will not be able to stand firmly. For example, the dwarf mules on Hong Kong Island mostly use machetes to fight, but here they are already accustomed to using firearms. Even semi-automatics often appear. Therefore, even if Chen Heilung brought a large number of dwarf mules from Hong Kong Island, they didn't care. In front of firearms, the number of people is just a joke. No firearms were used when cutting Big D, but just gave Big D it's just a lesson. Otherwise, with Morobing's home field advantage, Big D would have brought more than a dozen people, and he would be damned if he could run away. After Chen Heilung asked Zhang Mi to pass the message, he didn't pay much attention to this matter, and was busy with his own work every day. On this day, he accompanied several bosses to a golf course in Yunlong to play golf and discuss business. Perhaps because of the small area of Hong Kong Island, slightly powerful bosses like to discuss business in unrestricted places like golf courses. Chen Black Dragon has done business in places like this a lot, and his golf skills have also improved significantly. From the initial goal of scoring well over par, now he can often score eagles. Eagle is a golf term, which means less than par. It means 2 shots. Specifically, if you score a par 4, a 2-shot goal is considered an eagle. This is not necessarily something that many top professional golfers can often hit. In business like them, the occasion is even more unique and rare. Bang! To read exciting novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. After swinging the golf ball flew in a perfect arc and fell straight into the hole. Bang, bang, bang! The boss who played with Chen Heilung couldn't help but applauded. Mr. Chen, your skills are getting better and better now. Every time I play with you, it makes me feel like I have trained my skills on a dog. Just kidding, I'm just lucky. Chen Heilung smiled and said. I believe it when others say it's luck, but this is not luck, it's reality. I still leave it to you for this batch of goods, and the price will remain the same as before. Easy to say. You can just arrange for someone to deliver the goods to the port later. I have some things to deal with here, so I'll excuse you. When Chen Heilung was talking, he threw the club to the caddy. Okay, Mr. Chen, walk slowly. several bosses said. While playing with the boss, Chen Heiling saw Zhang Mizi appearing on the side of the court. Zhang Nizai usually came to him to report something, but at that time he was playing with the boss, and he didn't rush to ask. Chen Heiling came to the side of the court, took the towel handed by his younger brother, and wiped his sweat, then asked Mizai, "What's the matter? Haojiang Ma Yuobing said that we would fight if we didn't accept it. They couldn't possibly explain Big D's matter." Zhang Nizai replied. As soon as he said this, Chen Heiling's mind immediately received a system task prompt. System mission released: enter Haojiang and kill Morobing. Reward for completing the mission: 40 Black Panther servants with doubled talent and energy. This mission made Chen Heiling narrow his eyes slightly and shoot out a cold light. Even if there is no mission, Morobing will be dead if he dares to be so provocative. What's more, the system has also issued a mission. Chen Heiling sneered and said, "Since Haojiang, if your club is so ignorant of promotion, then show them some respect and tell them to hold a meeting in the afternoon." "Yes, boss." If he simply killed Mo Luobing, Chen Heiling didn't need to spend a lot of effort at all, but the reaction given by the community in Haojiang made him somewhat unhappy. Since it was shameless, he wouldn't let them and Lianxing go. In the eyes of Lianxing, give them a hard blow and let them know that neither Lianxing nor Caishenlong is easy to mess with. With Chen Heiling's current power in Lianxing, even if it is an impromptu meeting, all the hall masters and uncles did not dare to neglect and rushed to the main hall tea house early. When Chen Heiling arrived at the main hall, all the hall masters and uncles from Lianxing arrived, except Big D, who was still lying in the hospital recovering from his injuries. "I called everyone here today to talk about Big D being chopped down in Haojiang. I think you all already know the whole story, so I won't go into details. Big D was cheated out of Haojiang by Haojiang Morobing. Of course, the big guys like Lianxing and the other big guys knew the origin of the matter. In their view, the association in Haojiang was purely they were looking for death and dared to trick Lianxing. They also heard that Chen Heiling had already told them that they wanted an explanation. They didn't understand what Chen Heiling meant by mentioning this matter again. In fact, it's not their fault that they didn't understand. Mainly because Lianxing is too powerful in Hong Kong Island now. The same thing cannot happen on Hong Kong Island. There is no association in Hong Kong Island that has just cheated the people of Lianxing. Therefore, I have never thought about it. Morobing dared to confront him. Chen Heiling looked at the pair of unclear eyes below, with a hint of coldness at the corner of his mouth. "Mo Luobing has sent out a message today to reply. He said if he wants to confess, he will be beaten if he doesn't accept it." As soon as these words came out, the hall masters and uncles like Lianxing were slightly stunned at first, and then they all became angry. "I really don't know how high the sky is. How dare you reply to us like that? You must give that guy a hard response, and let him know how powerful we in Lianxing are. Damn it, a small club like that in Haojiang. If the club is not big, then it is not small. If you dare to challenge us, I will contact my little brother now and I will go to Haojiang tonight. I want to see if it is Morobing. My mouth is tougher than my knife." Morobing, the frog in the well, thought that it would be great if he cut down Big D. If Big D hadn't been unprepared, it wouldn't be certain who would cut whom. Now he dares to say such things. "I am willing to lead a team to cut down that bastard." Nowadays in Hong Kong Island, Lianxing's reputation is becoming more and more famous. Now when they heard that Mo Luobing was so arrogant, everyone immediately felt the same hatred and hatred. Compared with these shouting hall masters, the plane's reaction was more direct. He stood up directly and said, "Boss, leave this matter to me. I promise to bring back Morobing's head tonight. Be patient." Chen Heiling raised his hand to ask everyone to quiet down. This time, Mo Luobing's reaction was not his personal attitude towards the Hong Kong Island community, but the overall attitude of the Haojiang community towards us. Originally, everyone was doing their own business, so I didn't think about it. But the associations in Haojiang have been very hostile to our associations in Hong Kong and are very resistant to us. Since they don't give face to us and Lianxing, then we will give them a hard blow this time. This time we and Lianxing enter Haojiang. When they heard this, the eyes of the hall masters and uncles below them all brightened up. Chen Heilun meant that he planned to get involved in Haojiang. They all knew how profitable the gambling industry in Haojiang was, otherwise Big D wouldn't do it. They will work hard for several months just to get a piece of the pie. If Chen Heilun gets involved in the Haojiang gaming industry, it will be an opportunity for all the big guys in Helianxing. If Luo Bing is defeated, they will also have a place in Haojiang. That's right! Quan Bao was the first to speak. This matter must not be let go so easily. This is not the first time that those societies in Haojiang have targeted our Hong Kong society in this way. We must give them a hard blow. I support the idea of collusion, Big Boss Quan then said. Those bastards have occupied such a cornucopia for too long, it's our turn to open a hole. If it was just because the society was humiliated before that everyone was indignant, now it is a more pure struggle for interests. For the sake of face, everyone may not be willing to go to war, but for the sake of profit, there is nothing to say. In collusion after the two uncles, Mr. Quan, spoke, others expressed their wishes enthusiastically and took the initiative to ask for a fight. They wished they could rush to Haojiang now and kill Mo Luo Bing. And the news that Lianxing was going to attack Haojiang and kill Mo Luo Bing immediately spread in the world. For a time, the situation in the two places was turbulent, and various rumors were flying all over the sky, especially the communities on Hong Kong Island. They did not expect that Lianxing would directly attack Haojiang, and they did not expect that Moro Bing would be so stubborn. Dare to speak to Chen Heilun. Almost all Hong Kong communities are waiting to see what the outcome will be this time. In the past, there were no societies that wanted to get a share of the Haojiang pie, but Haojiang has been facing foreign forces. They have always been quite hostile, especially 14K, who is the leader. On their own territory, they do not take the Hong Kong Island community into account, and often let the Hong Kong Island community fail. The Hong Kong Island community is not only Big D on the Haojiang side. One person was disappointed. There must be some dissatisfaction. Now everyone is waiting to see what the outcome will be when the Lianxing Club and the Haojiang Society collide. Haojiang New Century Bar. A man was sitting in a booth in the corner of the bar, looking at the whiskey in his hand in a daze. Although the man frowned, the tailor-made suit and the expensive watch on his wrist showed his extraordinary status. Anyone who frequents casinos will recognize this man as Bing Yaju, the leader of the Zhongyi Hall of Haojiang 14K Club. The Haojiang 14K Club has two major branches. One is Shenyong Club, whose leader is Mo Luo Bing, and the other is Benjaiju's Zhongyi Church. Although the two of them belong to the same club, they don't deal with each other. It can even be described as being on the same level. In order to compete for the gambling hall, the two sides fought fiercely, and many people died on each side. Speaking of which, Benjaiju actually followed Mo Luo Bing for a while before he came to power. However, after becoming independent later, he got out of control and now he can vaguely compete with Mo Luo Bing. Mo Luo Bing, who dominates the sky in Haojiang, naturally will not allow anyone to compete with him and suppress Bing Yaju in various ways. Although Benjaiju rose up very quickly, its foundation was shallow after all, and its personal connections were not as deep as Moro Bing's. Although it had resisted several suppressions, it had also damaged a lot of its vitality. Today he is here alone and frowning because his casino is being squeezed by Mo Luo Bing and the business is deteriorating. If he doesn't want to come up with some way to deal with Mo Luo Bing, who is like a mad dog, his customers will, I'm afraid that everything will be lost to Morabbing. But the method is so easy to come up with. Gambling hall business can't be done by just fighting and killing, it must have enough chips to attract customers. In terms of the strength of his men, he thinks he is worthy of Mo Luo Bing, but in terms of capital, there are some differences. When he was thinking about how to regain customer resources, his military advisor Xiao Liao suddenly sat in front of him. "Please give me a beer," Xiao Liao said to the waiter. Xiao Liao was his childhood friend and the military advisor of their Zhongyi Hall. Xiao Liao played an indispensable role in the development of Zhongyi Hall to the scale it is today. "Don't you like noisy places like bars? Why are you here today?" Benjiaju asked curiously. That's because there's good news today. Xiao Liao smiled lightly. What good news? Has Moro Bing died? Benjiaju joked. No, but he's in big trouble now. Did you know that Mo Luo Bing sent someone to kill He Lianxing's leader 2 days ago? He Lianxing sent a message to him and asked him to give an explanation. As a result, Mo Luo Bing was too arrogant and directly said that he would fight if he wanted to. No. Maybe give an explanation. He and Lianxing had just announced that they were preparing to attack Haojiang and kill Moro Bing. Hearing this, a light suddenly flashed in front of Bing Yaja's eyes. Of course he knew about Mo Luo Bing's Big D. Regarding that 433 incident, Mo Luo Bing not only did not hide anything, but was somewhat proud of it. Huge publicity. However, he felt that Mo Luo Bing went too far in that matter. Even if he did not want the Hong Kong community to get involved in Haojiang, he could just refuse. But Mo Luo Bing not only cheated other people's money, and even killed people. At that time, he felt that this matter was definitely not over. After all, He Lianxing was not a small family in Hong Kong Island. After losing such a big face, he must get his place back. Now it is true. I was immediately called to my door. Let me inform the brothers below that this matter has nothing to do with our cousins. Everyone, please don't move. Anyway, the one we are dealing with Lianxing is Moro Bing, who can be considered our friend, Benjiaju said. After all, we are all from Haojiang. Wouldn't it be a little bad if there was no reaction at all? Xiao Liao said worriedly. His worries are not unreasonable. The Haojiang Association has always been a group with the outside world. If it stands idly by this time, it will inevitably cause criticism. That's a matter of course. What Mo Luo Bing did this time is too ugly and unreasonable. Even if we don't help, others will have nothing to say. Besides, that guy is more wary of us than outsiders. If we try to help him, we will end up feeling embarrassed and just sit back and watch. What's more, we and Mo Luo Bing are not friends. If I have the opportunity, I will definitely add insult to injury. This bastard Mo Luo Bing, relying on his seniority, will always suppress me. Do you really think that I, Benjiaju, am easy to mess with? Benjiaju didn't want to get involved in the dispute between Moro Binghe and Lianxing. In his opinion, it would be best for both sides to suffer losses at that time, and he would just benefit. A few days later, various docks in Haojiang welcomed a large number of people with complex expressions. Cruel young people, these people are all members of Lianxing who came over by boat from Hong Kong Island. After getting off the boat, these and Lianxing dwarf mules took a taxi into the city of Haojiang in groups. Almost everyone on the pier was He Lianxing's people were so densely packed that it was almost impossible to see the head. A total of 5,000 guys stopped all the taxis at several piers. The huge scene made many gangsters on the streets of Haojiang realize that something was wrong. They all hid in their homes one by one, for fear of being affected. They all knew that a dragon had come to Haojiang. Even the gamblers who often came to Haojiang noticed something was wrong. Some were cautious, and directly after booking the return ticket, we returned to Hong Kong Island without even leaving the pier. Of course, there were some brave people who wanted to see who the dragon crossing the river was and find an opportunity to watch the excitement. Suddenly, everywhere in Haojiang River hotels and inns were filled with young men from He Lianxing. Of course, not only the gangsters on the street were shocked by such a big movement, but also the manager of the Lisboa Casino, a Gao, had a look on his face when he heard the news. A change. Although he had received rumors a few days ago that Lianxing was planning to cross the sea to Haojiang to engage in Mo Luo Bing, he did not take it seriously at the time. In the past, Haojiang and the Hong Kong community did not. There was little conflict, and the matter ended with thunder and rain. After all, there is a sea between the two places. It would not be so easy to mobilize troops and generals to start a fight. Haojiang is one of the 4 major gambling cities in the world, and the cost of living is extremely high. The cost of transporting a soldier here is hundreds of dollars alone. Including food, drink, red envelopes for the younger brother, and follow-up expenses, etc., the cost of transferring a younger brother here is at least several thousand to tens of thousands. Associations, when we start a war, we only need financial resources, and we also seek money for gain. With such a high cost, if we mobilize too few people, it will be in vain and there will be no pomp. If we mobilize too many people, the costs will be too high to make ends meet. It is basically impossible for anyone to do that. But no one has thinking of it. He Lianxing had actually mobilized troops, and there were more than 5,000 people. In other words, He Lianxing had already spent hundreds of thousands of yuan before the war started. This amount of money made a Gao feel afraid. Something big was going to happen, so I quickly handed over the work to the people below, and drove to the top private estate located at the southern foot of Haojiang River. Haojiang is not a big place, and it only takes about 20 minutes to drive from the Lisboa Casino to the southernmost end. This estate is in the land in Haojiang, is extremely high profile and luxurious. Before you reach the main entrance of the manor, there is a boulevard. After passing this boulevard and entering the main entrance of the manor, you can see a Western-style fountain with a diameter of more than 20 meters. The fountain has 2 fountains. There is also a Chinese sycamore planted on the side. The broad leaves of the sycamore tree block the harsh sunlight and make people feel cool even at noon. In Haojiang, only 2 casino tycoons have that qualification and strength. Living in such a luxurious place, this is the residence of He Xian, one of the 2 casino tycoons, and the Lisboa Casino is the property in his name. When a Gao arrived, He Xian was pushing a wheelchair and taking his wife to the back of the manor. Walking in the garden. His wife followed him when he was still young, and it was in order to save him that he became paralyzed now. So He Xian is very grateful for her dedication to him, and has never left him for so many years. Every time he has free time, he will push her for a walk in the garden. Sister, I heard that medicine is very advanced in the beautiful country. I will take you there to see how it goes in a while. No need, Xian, I have already gotten used to it over the years and don't want to bother with it anymore. It's actually quite good just like this. But you, there is really no need to stay with me every day. The reporter I saw last time was pretty good. You can try to get in touch with him. Forget it, I have no interest in her. While the 2 were talking, the bodyguard came over to report. Brother Xian, a Gao said that he has something urgent to see you. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. When He Xian's wife heard this, she patted him and congratulated him. Xian's hand said, Go and do your business, just ask the servant to take me back to the room. He Xian knew that a Gao came to him at this time, and there must be something important, and there was no mother-in-law, so he left his wife to his daughter-in-law. After getting married, he asked the bodyguard to bring a Gao over. What happened? Mr. He and Lianxing's Caishenlong arranged for 5,000 people from Lianxing to arrive in Haojiang. It seems that they are going to start a war with Mo Luobing. I am worried that it will affect our casino business. He Xian was not surprised when he heard a Gao's report. His field of vision is not like that of Mo Luobing's short meals, which is limited to Haojiang. His understanding of Chen Heilong is far better than that of Mo Luobing. Chen Heilong's power has expanded greatly in Southeast Asia in recent times, especially Jin Sanjia and Taigua. It's not surprising that Mo Luobing is against such a big boss. Even though he only brought 5,000 younger brothers at once, he was still a little surprised by Chen Heilong's generosity, and it also made him feel that this young man was very extraordinary. Don't worry, as long as they don't cause trouble in the casino, they won't affect our business. You don't need to pay attention. This time, Mo Luobing doesn't give face to Caishenlong. It's not surprising that they come to try to regain the place. Let's keep a wait-and-see attitude on this matter. That's it. At the same time, Mo Luobing was watching the situation in each gambling hall in the monitoring room of the gambling hall he contracted. In a place like a casino where money is directly dealt with, there is always a shortage of gamblers who take risks. Even if I know I will have my hands and feet amputated if I get caught, I still can't help but want to take advantage of the fire. In order to prevent this kind of thing from happening, casinos were the first places to popularize surveillance cameras. The surveillance cameras used were purchased from abroad at a high price, and the clarity can even see the cards in the hands of gamblers. When Mo Luobing was observing a gambler who was suspected of being a cheater, the leader, Death Dragon, opened the door with a solemn expression. Boss, Hong Kong Island and Lianxing have transferred 5,000 people across the sea. They have now arrived at Haojiang. It looks like they are coming for us. Death Dragon whispered in Mo Luobing's ear. When he heard this, Mo Luobing's expression changed instantly. He didn't expect that Lianxing would actually play it real. They really transferred so many subordinates from Hong Kong Island. After all, he really called from Hong Kong Island. To be honest, the cost was too much, and it was not worth the gain. However, in front of his subordinates in the surveillance room, he didn't say much. He just asked his subordinates to monitor the gambler who was suspected of being a cheater, and took him with him. Death Dragon hurriedly left the control room and went to the side hall where there was no one around. Tell me clearly, what is the specific situation now? Asked Morebing. About half an hour ago, various piers in Haojiang welcomed a large number of dwarf mules. After arriving at the port, those dwarf mules took buses and checked into the hotels around us. According to the rough estimate of the boy on the pier, the number of them will definitely not be low. At 5,000. After Mo Luobing heard this, his face was gloomy as if he was about to drip water. Just like Ageo, the manager of the Lisboa casino, he did not think that Chen Hailun could really bring people to Haojiang to start a war with him. After all, the cost of starting a war was, if you put it there, even if you just bring in a younger brother to build momentum, the cost of eating, drinking for 5,000 people in Haojiang for a day will be around several million. If a war really starts, the expenses will increase exponentially. This cost is simply not something that ordinary societies can afford. Yes. He had heard about Chen Hailun's deeds in Haojiang before, but he didn't take it seriously. After all, rumors in the world are more likely to be spread by false rumors. What kind of golden three-legged warlord, Taigua's hard fight in his opinion, the eight-faced Buddha is a myth. If he really has that kind of strength, there is no need to give him a message. I'm afraid someone would have been sent over to hold a gun to his head, so he didn't even think about it at the beginning. He cared about He Lianxing's announcement. But he didn't expect that not only did they actually send troops, but they also sent more than 5,000 people. This madness made him feel a little scared in his heart. Haojiang's population was far less than on Hong Kong Island. The number of dwarf mules is much smaller. Although he is a 14K boss, his elite gang of Xingyong society only has less than 5,000 people. As for the other peripheral members, they are not counted. Although there are still some in Haojiang, there are many outsiders who rely on him to make a living, but asking those guys to help introduce customers to make money is okay, but it is impossible to ask them to fight for him with knives. Boss, what should we do now? Do you want to start a fight with He Lianxing? Death Dragon asked. Beat. Why not fight? Mo Luobing gritted his teeth and said. Although he didn't want to be beaten, he was beaten all the time. Even if he didn't want to be beaten, it was impossible. After all, he was the number one brother in the Haojiang underground society. If he gave up without being beaten, how can he hang out in Haojiang in the future? You know, Bing Yaju has been eyeing his position and wants to take his place. No younger brother will be willing to follow the useless boss. If he gives up, Bing Yaju will definitely take the opportunity to kill him. The younger brother under his command was poached, so he had to fight this battle even if he didn't want to. Even if he negotiated, he had to do it first. With this in mind, he rushed to Death Dragon and ordered, "Since he, the god of fortune dragon, wants to do it one game, then I will fight with him. This is my home court, and I don't believe that I can't beat him. You should call all the younger brothers immediately, and be ready to fight the god of wealth dragon. Boss, do you need to inform Zhongyi Hall? After all, He Lianxing is an outsider. We 14K people should unite to fight." Death Dragon asked. Notification. A trace of cruelty flashed in Mo Luobing's eyes. It would be good if Benjiaju doesn't add insult to injury. It's absolutely impossible to ask him to help. Tell me below, if we can win and win this time, I'll give him. Everyone is given a big red envelope. If anyone can kill a dwarf mule who is above the level of the mini-boss in the battle, I will give him a bonus of 200,000. If he kills the hall leader, I will give him a bonus of 2 million. If he kills the god of wealth dragon, I will give him 1,000. 10,000. If any brother is injured, I will pay for all the medical expenses, and I will receive red envelopes every month during the treatment. If unfortunately he dies, in addition to the settlement expenses, if there are elderly people at home, I will pay for their care until the end of their lives, and if they have children, I will pay for them to adulthood. Yes. Mo Luo Bing was also very aggressive. Not only did he give out high rewards, but before the fight started, he asked Death Dragon to send red envelopes to each of the younger brothers. Each red envelope contained at least 2,000 yuan. This number is at this time, it was already not a small amount. You must know that at that time, the salary of an ordinary person in Haojiang was only 1 or 2,000 yuan. When there was a war between Hong Kong Island societies, the appearance fee of a young man was only 500 yuan. He gave him enough more than 4 times. As the saying goes, money moves people's hearts. Although the subordinates who have received the benefits are still a little nervous, they are immediately full of fighting spirit when they think of the benefits promised by Mo Luo Bing. It is not easy to get out of the way. A word of wealth, even the money earned from killing a small boss, is enough for them to live comfortably for a long time. Because Moro Bing did not have an advantage in numbers, even though it was a home battle, he did not dare to attack at will. Instead, he concentrated his troops on his own territory and planned to wait for work to face Chen Heilung. That night, in the early hours of the morning, on a remote beach in Haojiang, a very inconspicuous fishing boat was slowly approaching the shore. Someone on the beach used lights to guide the direction of the fishing boat. After the boat docked, the Black Wolf King was the first to jump off the boat. Behind him were the ruthless gangsters and desperados brought from the high seas islands. They had previously killed the countrymen on Hong Kong Island. Scarface, the pig king of the Chinese Negi, is also among them. Each of these people is fully armed, not only carrying semi-automatic weapons, but also grenades and other powerful destructive weapons hanging on their waists. Mo Luo Bing waited for the whole night, and all the boys' eyes were red, and they did not wait for He Lianxing's attack. When daybreak was about to break, he asked Death Dragon to investigate, only to find out that the younger brother sent to Haojiang with Lianxing had gone to bed early after having a good meal and drink yesterday, and had no intention of starting a war. Moro Bingda was very angry. I scolded the 3-character classic for more than half an hour. After knowing that the fight would not be possible for the time being, Moro Bing arranged for his subordinates to rest first. At the same time, Chen Heilung came to Haojiang on a private yacht. In addition to Zhang Nazai, He Min and the Black Panther King, Chen Heilung was accompanied by dozens of bodyguards composed of Black Wolf's servants and Black Bear's servants. Team, the firearms carried by these bodyguards made the clothes around their waists bulge. The Black Panther King had no arrangements for him during this period, so he has been serving as the head of Chen Heilung's bodyguard, commanding the dozens of beast servants and younger brothers to protect Chen Heilung's safety. Brother Black Dragon! Just when the yacht arrived at Haojiang Pier, the plane that arrived at Haojiang first had already brought hundreds of young men in 40 or 50 black cars waiting here. When they saw Chen Heilung coming, they immediately stepped forward to greet him, and greeted him respectfully. Greetings. Chen Heilung nodded and took him into one of them, a Plus Lincoln. This extended Lincoln is a vehicle specially used by luxury hotels here in Haojiang to receive VIPs. The interior of the car is extremely luxurious, with a seating area at the back. Not only does it have a huge U-shaped sofa, but it also has a wine cabinet, a refrigerator, and other items. The spaciousness of the car allows people to do a lot of things. Where is the hotel arranged? Chen Heilung asked. Boss, I have reserved the presidential suite at the Lisboa Hotel for you. The Lisboa Hotel is He Xian's territory, and Moro Bing does not dare to mess around, the plane replied. Chen Heilung nodded noncommittally. He was not worried at all about whether Mo Luo Bing dared to mess around, but the Lisboa Hotel is the best hotel in Haojiang now, and it will at least be more comfortable if he chooses to live there. The presidential suite is the most comfortable in the Lisboa Hotel. On the top floor, the suite is divided into 2 floors, with a total area of about 300 square meters. In addition to a master bedroom, there are 2 guest rooms, a maid's room, a living room and a study room. From the living room to the master bedroom, the windows of the bedroom can overlook most of the Haojiang River, and in order to protect the privacy of the guests, all the windows here are single-sided reflective. You can see the outside from the room, but not the inside from the outside. In addition, all the items in the room are, including bathrobes and sheets, are the world's top luxury brands. The price of staying here for one night is more than what many locals can earn after working hard for a year. Unlike the nervousness at Morobing, Chen Heilung is completely there was no emotion as expected before the war. After resting in the room for a while, he took Hemin directly to the casino downstairs, planning to play 2 games. The Lisboa Casino is in the same building as the hotel, but the entrance is in a different place. Chen Heilung had heard of the famous Feng Shui Bureau of the Lisboa Hotel before. Since he came this time, he planned to see it. When he went downstairs, he walked around to the main entrance to take a look. Feng Shui is said to be very popular in Haojiang and Hong Kong Island. During the construction of the Lisboa Hotel, Feng Shui masters were specially invited to design it. First of all, the appearance. The shape of the Lisboa Casino is like a huge birdcage, which means it is better to enter but not to go out. There is also a round object on the top of the birdcage. The knife-like, sharp weapons surround a circle and pierce in all directions, which means that thousands of arrows are fired at once, which means killing in all directions. Some people also see the meaning of thousands of arrows piercing the heart. At night, the entire casino is lit up. It is transparent, and every gambler who enters the venue is like a caged bird in this magnificent birdcage. And the 2 doors with a tiger's mouth on one side and a lion's mouth on the other mean that the lion absorbs money and the tiger keeps money, but also sent into the tiger's mouth. The second is the shuttle bus provided by the hotel to gamblers. In order to welcome gamblers to come and spend money, the Lisboa Hotel has prepared free shuttle buses at the terminal and airport. Lisboa Hotel uses to shuttle guests. The bus is green, and according to the 5 elements theory, green belongs to wood. When a car that belongs to wood receives gamblers to Lisboa, they must pass through the gate and enter the parking lot. The gate and the parking aisle are all decorated with gold. That is to say, before the gambler even entered the casino, the gambler had already been killed by the Jean Camus. In the end, there were many layers of calculations. As soon as the gambler entered the door, the first thing he saw was the dome fish tank. People who are gullible are called water fish on Hong Kong Island and Haojiang. So the moment a gambler steps into the gate of Lisboa, he becomes a water fish, who enters the aquarium and is slaughtered. But this has just begun. There is a bat crystal chandelier hanging upside down waiting in the lobby of the casino. Bats have the intention of sucking blood, that is, they are already sucking the blood of gamblers before the gambling starts. After taking a seat, there is a cloth above the gaming table. The decoration of the fishing net frame means that sooner or later the gambler will catch the fish in the net. This kind of decoration is called Tianluo umbrella in Feng Shui, which means that the gambler is trapped in the evil spirit and all the gambler's money is pocketed. In such Feng Shui layouts can be seen everywhere in casinos. Although Chen Heilung doesn't believe this, he admires the casino designer's ability to play with people's hearts. If this layout is really so evil, how could it make the streets famous, and secretly isn't it bad to make money? Gamblers all know this, so wouldn't they be wary of it? To put it bluntly, it is actually to use this kind of specious rumors to first make the gamblers feel timid in terms of momentum. Once the momentum is gone, the mentality will be unstable. If there is a slight headwind, you will think that the Feng Shui of the casino is causing trouble. With such a mentality, how can you win? When Chen Heilung and his entourage arrived, the scene was very grand. There were bodyguards in black suits everywhere, which was very eye-catching. They were quickly reported to the manager A Gao by the casino's junket operator. After hearing the report, A Gao hurriedly came to receive it in person. "Hello, Mr. Chen, this is A Gao, the manager of the Lisboa casino. How can I serve you? No service is needed, I just come to the casino to have fun. Chen Heilung smiled slightly, turned to the Black Panther King and said, Black Panther King, you go and redeem 10 million chips first. Yes, boss. Mr. Chin, you don't need to redeem it. Before the Black Panther King could move, Ah Gao said first. Mister, he has already told us that we will give you 10,000 chips as a gift. It's like our casino makes friends with you. Xian knew Chen Heilung's influence. When he knew that Chen Heilung would stay in his hotel, he had already told Ah Gao that if Chen Heilung came to the casino, he would give away 10 million chips. Such a large sum of money is to ordinary people, it seems like an astronomical figure, but in the eyes of big guys like them, it is just a small amount of money. Spending a small amount of money to form a good relationship with a person like Chen Heilung is more valuable to Xian than earning that little money. It was much more suitable. When Chen Heilung heard Ah Gao's words, he understood Xian's intention to make friends with him, but he did not refuse. After all, people need to be praised in the world. If others give face, Chen Heilung naturally has to accept it. After placing the chips, he rushed to Ah Gao and said, Send good wishes to Mr. He and me. Must, Ah Gao said. If Mr. Chen needs anything while playing, you can ask any service staff to inform me. I will not disturb Mr. Chen. I wish you a happy play. Ah Gao works as a manager at the Lisboa casino. He has a good sense of proportion. He does not appear to be trying to please, but he also maintains a certain distance, and does not follow him around all the time to annoy others. After he left, Chen Heilung hugged him. Following He Min's slender waist, he came to a gaming table where he was playing baccarat. If things were left in the past, with Chen Heilung's character, regardless of the banker or player, he would definitely have to place a heavy bet to get the right to see one of the cards. But today he just played casually and didn't care about the right to see the cards at all. When playing cards, he placed bets like ordinary gamblers. Amo Luo Bing was woken up by a knock on the door not long after he got off the bed. He opened the door angrily, and standing outside was the leader of his men, who also had a bad look on his face, Death Dragon. Something to say? Amo Luo Bing said in a bad tone. Boss, the God of Wealth Dragon has arrived in Haojiang. What? Amo Luo Bing's sleepiness disappeared in an instant, and his leopard eyes narrowed. When he was preparing for the battle yesterday, he knew that Chen Heilung himself had not come to Haojiang, and that the team was led by Chen Heilung's confidant. It was not beyond his expectation. After all, he was blind. Unless he was beaten to the door of his house, how could the boss personally end it? He must let the younger brother do this. So after hearing the Death Dragon said that Chen Heilung was coming Haojiang, that would make him a little surprised. Where is he now? Asked Mo Ebbing. Gambling at Lisboa Casino. Hearing this address, Amo Luo Bing showed a hint of arrogance on his face. He thought for a moment and said, Bring a few younger brothers with you, and let's go meet the God of Wealth Dragon. Although Amo Luo Bing has never met Chen Heilung in person, he has already seen Chen Heilung's photos from the collected information, so after taking people to the Lisboa Casino, he recognized the man who was playing baccarat at a glance. Chen Heilung. Amo Luo Bing, who came with more than 20 young men, did have a bit of the temperament of a Hadao hero. When he came to the gambling table where Chen Heilung was sitting, he directly tore open the gambling table sitting opposite Chen Heilung. The gambler sat down by himself. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. The gambler was pulled away at first, and he wanted to curse a few words, but when he saw the opponent's posture, he was immediately frightened and couldn't say a word. Not daring to say anything, he hunched his head and left quickly. The other gamblers at the same table were so frightened when they saw the two sides acting like this that they stood up quickly, fearing that they would be harmed if they started fighting, so they also hurriedly left the table. Gambling table. Wealth Dragon? How rich are you? Let me meet you. I am Mo Luo Bing from Haojiang 14K Xinyong Club. Mo Luo Bing looked at Chen Heilung opposite and said with an unruly expression, What's the matter? Chen Heilung raised his eyelids and glanced at him, saying expressionlessly, You know what is going on. Mo Luobing said in a bad tone. I don't care if you are the god of wealth dragon, or you are sitting with Lianxing. Haojiang is the territory of our local gang. If you dare to step in, you will be beaten hard by me, Mo Luobing. Step back. Remember, Haojiang is not something you Hong Kong Island mules can play around with. When Chen Heilung heard this, he ignored him at all and continued to say to the dealer, Deal the cards. I am talking to you on horseback, god of wealth dragon, did you hear it? Ma Luobing slapped the table and said, Why are you shouting so loudly? Can shouting loudly stop bullets? Fight first and then talk. Chen Heilung said with an eye. Okay, let's see. Putting down these harsh words, Mo Luobing took his younger brother and left the Lisboa casino without asking for trouble. He also saw that Chen Heilung was not in the mood to talk to him, and because it was the Hexin territory of the Lisboa casino, there were people everywhere. It was surveillance, and both sides maintained a certain degree of restraint and could not make trouble. But Mo Luobing's face was somewhat ugly when he came out of the casino. He had been in the world for so many years and had never looked past anyone. Chen Heilung was not an easy character to deal with. The bodyguards following Chen Heilung also made him feel uncomfortable, and he felt a little uneasy. Go to the warehouse, Mo Luobing said coldly. Of course, the warehouse he was talking about was not an ordinary warehouse, but the warehouse where their Xingyong society stored their arms. He was able to build such a large territory in Haojiang, not just because of his subordinates. He also raised a group of elite gunmen. These gunmen were his trump card. He had not planned to use them so early, but after meeting Chen Heilung this time, he felt that he had to prepare these gunmen in advance. Arrival of goods behind the warehouse, Moro Bing rushed to the Death Dragon and ordered, Open all the arms boxes and distribute the weapons to the gunners. Yes, boss. Dead Life Dragon nodded. The arms in his warehouse were mainly Black Stars, with a small number of semi-automatic guns. After Death Dragon took out these firearms, they were distributed to the gunmen on the same day. At the same time, that day in the evening, when Chen Heilung was still holding He Min in his arms while drinking red wine and admiring the night view of Haojiang River, the whole Haojiang River began to turn upside down. The first one to attack was the Tanko of He Lianxing. This time not only did He Lianxing come by plane, but many hall masters from other halls also came over. After all, planting the flag in Haojiang is related to everyone's interests. If you don't contribute at this time, how can you get a share of the pie afterwards? Among them, Debuhe and Yutubio were the hall masters who took the initiative to come to Haojiang. Because Chen Heilung did not do the number 4 business, they were also looking for transformation recently. Finally, they came across such a good opportunity to attack Haojiang. Naturally, they will not let it go easily. They are both veteran hall leaders of Lianxing, and they usually have a good relationship. This time they came here and formed a team on their own. They led the team to the Little Red Spider Casino, and as soon as they entered the door, they directly entered the 10 Gambling Hall number 3. There are 3 gambling halls in this casino by Mo Luobing, namely number 1, number 3 and number 13. This is not a secret at all in the world. He and Lianxing had already found out clearly before taking action. And each team was assigned a target. After the two rushed in with their younger brother, Yutubio jumped on the table with a fish-killing knife in his hand and shouted, Working with Lianxing, get out of the way of those who have nothing to do with it. In the past 2 days, many well-informed gamblers, in order to avoid being affected, will try their best to play in a casino that does not have a gambling hall in Morobing, so there are not many guests in the gambling hall at this time. But even these gamblers who were not very well informed now realized what was going on when they saw this posture. They immediately dispersed for fear of being accidentally injured. As for the casino, if they had known about the festival between these two families, no one would dare to jump without opening their eyes. Come out and stop them. After all, there are only a few tables and stools in the casino. Even if they are all smashed, they are not worth a lot of money. There is no need to get into trouble at this time and offend either of these two families. Type Black and Fish Head labeled the two of them also led their own men who could fight. In one confrontation, they chopped down all the younger men who were placed here by Mo Luobing to watch the scene, and then smashed everything that could be smashed in these gambling halls. Although the things that were smashed were not worth much, but the impact was not small at all. After all, gamblers wanted to play in a safe place. While they were smashing the gambling hall, planes were carrying thousands of young people there. Yongxing Street. Yongxing Street is the boundary of Mo Luobing's territory. When the plane took his younger brother there, Mo Luobing also gathered 2,000 to 3,000 gangsters who had been waiting for a long time. The one who led the team was his subordinates, the Red Stick Ghost. After the two parties met, they didn't say anything nonsense, and they just drew their knives and started to chop at each other. Perhaps it was the stimulation brought by the high reward given by Morobing, but these younger brothers under him were as if they had been given blood. He was able to fight, and even a ruthless person like the plane couldn't defeat the opponent for a while. The Shigoi was indeed the best fighter among Morobing's men, and the fight with the plane was back and forth. For a time, the entire Yongxing Street was full of swords and screams, and people were slashed and fell to the ground at any time. Both sides were very resilient. The plane led people to cut through half of the street with great difficulty, while Shigei gritted his teeth and fought hard regardless of casualties. When we came back, we fought from midnight to dawn, and the fight lasted all night. No one could get any advantage, and hundreds of people were injured and killed, but there was no clear winner. In the next 2 days, the entire Haojiang River was completely turned upside down. There were countless scuffles, large and small, and people were hacked to death every day. As the boss of another big mountain in Haojiang 14K, Bing Yaji strictly implemented the original strategy, forbidding anyone under his command to participate in this conflict, and withdrew all his territory and manpower. No matter how fierce the fight between the two sides was, and how many opportunities there were to gain benefits, he was not tempted, with an attitude of caring that it was none of his business. "Ah Ju, are we just going to watch?" Xiao Liao asked. "Just watching like this, not only watching like this, but also asking the people below to take a break for the past 2 days. If they are like this, the guests will not feel at ease if they bring guests to play." Ben Jiaju. "But in this case, our losses will be huge. Haojiang is no different than Hong Kong Island. Hong Kong Island is larger and has more industries. The businesses that associations can engage in are not limited to one area. But it is different here in Haojiang. Whether it is a horse stable, a financial company, or a fan stalls, docks, and even taxis, almost all operate around the core of the casino. After all, Haojiang has a population of hundreds of thousands. If it only relies on the local population, it will not be able to support all aspects of the club's expenses. Suspend letting the younger brother take charge. If guests play, their income will drop sharply, so Xiao Liao can't help but worry. "It doesn't matter, we have suffered a big loss, and Morobing's side has suffered an even greater loss. It's hard to say how long it will take, but it will be fine if it takes 10 days and a half. We just wait and see the results." Binyaja can sit still, but some people can't sit still. There are 2 tycoons in Haojiang Casino, one is He Xian and the other is Yu Lankan. Short mules like Binyaja can ignore the street, the situation is chaotic, but casino owners like Yulankan can't care less. As one of the 4 major gambling cities in the world, Haojiang has customers all over the world. If the 2 gangs continue to fight like this, it will affect when it comes to casino business. After all, when gamblers come to play, the 630 is more concerned about safety issues than winning money. The reason why Haojiang can attract gamblers to play is because the services provided here are excellent and safe. Protection. If a gambler wins money in a casino elsewhere, it is difficult to guarantee that he or she will not be cheated by the casino. But here in Haojiang, such a thing will not happen. If any gambler wins a big sum of money, if so, the casino will not only publicize it, but also give out many discounts, such as free accommodation coupons. If the gambler wants to withdraw money and leave the country, the casino will also help with various procedures and escort the gambler out throughout the process. Haojiang's society also knows what is the basis for its foothold. At most, it will tempt gamblers who have won money to continue playing, and will not do anything to rob or plunder on the surface. But now, the big fight between the two sides has seriously affected when it comes to the business of Haojiang Casino. After all, people are being hacked on the street every day. In such chaos, which gambler dares to play? Don't be wronged if you accidentally get hacked to death. In just 2 days, the passenger flow of Yulansan's casino has been reduced by at least 50%. If both parties are not contained, the guests will be lost sooner or later. In order to solve this matter, Yulankin drove to He Xian's mansion with his bodyguards to discuss it. He Xian usually was at home. Apart from spending time with his wife, he would practice calligraphy alone in the study. When he was young, he was also a brave and ruthless person, but since his wife was injured and paralyzed while saving him, he has curbed his sharpness and practiced calligraphy whenever he had nothing to do. Cultivating flowers to cultivate sentiment. Sister, what do you think of this handwriting I wrote? He Xian showed his newly written calligraphy to his wife. Tolerance is a virtue. After He Xian's wife read out this calligraphy, she smiled and said, You wrote this for yourself, right? Sure enough, I can't hide anything from you this time. Knock, knock, knock. Before He Xian finished speaking, he heard a knock at the door of the study. Come in. The person who opened the door and walked in was his personal bodyguard. Mr. He Yulankin is here to visit you. Got it, I'll go down right away. After the bodyguard left, He Xian said to his wife, It seems that Yulankin can't sit still anymore. Okay, you go down quickly. Some things are better to be solved as soon as possible. If it takes too long, it will be bad for everyone. Don't worry, I'll take you back to your room first. After pushing his wife back to the room in a wheelchair, He Xian went downstairs to see Yulankin. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's all too urgent, He Xian, you can still keep your composure, Yulankin said angrily. Although Yulankin and He Xian are both casino tycoons, not only do they not have any conflicts, but they also have a very good relationship. They were friends before they became rich, so when they talk to each other, not as polite as with outsiders, just say whatever you want. Let's have a cup of tea first to calm down the fire a little bit. You are already a big man, why are you still so impatient? How can I not be in a hurry? The god of fortune dragon from Hong Kong Island is young, vigorous and sharp. He has been fighting fiercely with Mo Luobing in the past 2 days. The whole Haojiang River has been messed up by the two of them. The casino business is full. Reduced by 50%. If they are allowed to continue fighting like this, the official police officers will not be able to suppress them anymore. When they end, things will only become more troublesome. The god of wealth dragon has been accustomed to being lawless in Southeast Asia for generations, and he often commits murder and robbery at sea. This time he was so provoked by Mo Luobing, and he will not let go until he gets rid of his bad temper. This time he wants to start a fight. He Xian picked up the teacup and said calmly, What you said is easy. He is from Hong Kong, and his base is not in Haojiang. Once he is done venting his anger, he pats his butt and leaves. The mess will be left to us. 2. He Xian took a sip of tea and said quietly, Let's do this. I'll ask Ga Gao to ask him to come over and have a talk and let him end this matter as soon as possible. There was a lot of fighting outside these days. At the same time, Chen Heilung had been gambling in the Lisboa casino and didn't pay attention to what was going on outside. But to describe his gambling skills as not very good would be a compliment. What stands out is that he plays as he pleases and plays according to his mood. From baccarat to pai gow, from craps to roulette, from slot machines to blackjack, he has played all the gambling methods in the Lisboa casino without fail. The 10 million chips that He Xian gave him had been squandered by him at Wu long ago, so he gave it back to He Xian in disguise. After losing the 10 million chips, he used his own money to redeem another 20 million chips. However, he didn't lose much from the 20 million chips. He only lost a few million after playing for a day and a half. Jie. Hua hua hua. Chen Heilung sat in front of a slot machine and pulled the joystick. Slot machines are one of the most popular machines in casinos. There is no skill required to play this machine. It all depends on luck, and luck is also involved. There are 3 glass frames on the front of this machine, and there will be different patterns inside. As long as you put in the coins and pull down the lever, it will start spinning. If a specific pattern appears, the money will be spit out directly. The more the same pattern appears, the higher the bonus. It is said that it relies on luck because the casino will have a probability when setting the program for the machine. For example, the number of pulls will determine the reward. Although the overall profit is definitely made by the casino, for gamblers, this gameplay is basically predecessor's tree. Future generations can enjoy the shade, and the previous gambler's investment and accumulation are all contributing to the final winner. After all, no one knows whether they will win this time, which can be regarded as a kind of luck. Normally, these machines are full of people, and it's hard to find an empty seat. But these 2 days, due to the fighting outside, there were quite a few empty seats. Dang lang 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 lang. Chen Heilung had good luck this time. 3 sevens appeared on the slot machine, which was a sign of winning the jackpot. The bonus was 100 times the amount of the bet. However, the maximum number of chips used in this kind of machine is only 100 yuan, and the 100-fold reward is only 10,000 yuan. This small amount of money is not even pocket money for Chen Heilung, but the good luck jackpot makes him feel very good. The slot machine will flash and play music when winning, and the machine is deliberately designed to make a crisp sound when the chips are released from the machine, which attracts the surrounding gamblers to look at his position with envy. Congratulations to Mr. Chen. A Gao, the casino manager, said loudly. When he was playing just now, Chen Heilung had already caught a glimpse of a Gao approaching from the corner of his eye, but he was busy playing slot machines at that time and ignored him. And a Gao was also very happy. He had a sharp eye and waited patiently without disturbing him. He didn't say hello until he won the prize. What's the matter? Chen Heilung asked. Mr. Chen, Mr. He would like to meet you. Let me come and invite you to my house for a chat. I wonder when it is convenient for you, Mr. Chen. Chen Heilung had already expected He Xian's invitation. After all, if he made such a big noise on their home court in Haojiang, the casino would definitely react. By the time he came to find him, He Xian had already its a great face. If you want to read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Of course, face is not given by others, it is gained by strength, and he, the god of fortune, has this strength. Since it was Mr. He who invited me, I will bother you. Mr. Chen, please come this way. A Gao got into Chen Heilung's car, and a group of 5 or 6 cars drove toward Hexin Manor. The cars he used here were all consigned from Hong Kong Island. Not only were the body and glass bulletproof, even the tire chassis has been specially modified. Even if it is hit by 2 rockets, it can drive normally. Sitting in it is like sitting in a movable bunker. There is no need to worry about being attacked. Before Chen Heilung came to Haojiang, I have conducted in-depth investigations on the big guys here. Although I have never seen He Xian in person, I have seen his photos. However, there are still some gaps between the photos and the real person. At least the photos cannot show He Xian's momentum. He Xian is about 40 or 50 years old. With a medium build and a slightly aquiline nose, but his eyes are typical peach blossoms. Even though he is not young now, he can still vaguely see the handsome outline of his youth. Chen. When Heilung arrived at the manor, He Xian was pushing his wheelchair and taking his wife for a walk in the garden. When he saw Chen Heilung arriving, he was like greeting an old friend. Come on, Heilung, sit down and chat. Few people in Hong Kong now call Chen Heilung this way, but He Xian has a high status in the world. He belongs to the older generation of people than Chen Heilung. He is the same generation as Lianxing's uncles, so he calls Chen Heilung this way. Not only did he not mean to look down upon him, but he actually felt a little more close to him. Sorry, I am not physically able to stand up to greet you. Please forgive me. He Xian's wife smiled and said. Chen Heilung still respected this strange woman who protected her husband from being permanently disabled. Sister-in-law, you're welcome. After the 2 parties sat down and chatted for a few words, He Xian talked about the main issue of calling Chen Heilong over. The quarrel between you and Moro Bing is a bit loud now. Haojiang officials and the police have already had a lot of opinions. If the fight continues like this, it will seriously affect the business environment here in Haojiang, which is not good for everyone. If the authorities intervene, the consequences will be very disastrous. The Portuguese countries that now manage Haojiang regard Haojiang as their money bag, and the pillar industry of Haojiang is casinos. More than 40% of the profits of casinos must be paid as taxes. There are people working on the streets of Haojiang. The officials may not take care of it if they are killed, but if it affects their wallets, they will definitely be hit by thunder. Chen Heilong also understands this, so he does not plan to draw the battle line for too long. The fighting has been so fierce in the past 2 days. They are just flexing their muscles in all aspects of Haojiang. After all, he and Lianxing are going to settle in Haojiang. Taking this opportunity to show their strength can act as a deterrent and avoid many troubles in the future. Up to this point, this goal has been achieved. If it continues, it will not be in line with his interests. After thinking for a while, Chen Heilong replied, "Now that Mr. He has spoken, I will make my promise. If I still can't deal with Mo Luobing in 1 week, I will take everyone back to Hong Kong Island. This time, I, the god of wealth, Long Bai, will come to Hao Jiang." Congratulations to the news and thought for a moment. With the current situation of Chen Heilong and Moro Bing, it is somewhat unrealistic to want the two companies to stop immediately. Although the impact on the Haojiang gaming industry in 1 week is not small, it is still within a controllable range. Guilty. And this incident all started because of Moro Bing. That guy has become bigger and bigger in Haojiang over the years, and his actions have become more and more unscrupulous. If we intervene strongly now and mediate, it will only make that guy act in the future even more unscrupulous. In his opinion, with Chen Heilong's strength, if he fights for another week, even if he fails to deal with Mo Luobing, he will be taught a profound lesson to prevent that guy from causing any trouble to Haojiang in the future. This time he provoked Chen Heilong, and he still had some thin face to come forward and make peace with him. Next time he provoked someone whose face didn't work, everyone would be unlucky together. Thinking of this, He Xian nodded. "Then I'll do as you say. There must be a result within a week, otherwise I'm afraid all aspects of Haojiang will have opinions." Clear. Chen Heilong smiled and nodded. He still has this kind of confidence. In the 2 days before, he didn't make any real moves at all, and the Black Wolf King didn't even use his trump card. But even so, Moro Bing Bien suffered heavy losses. After the two chatted about business and chatted for a few more words, Chen Heilong stood up to say goodbye and left. When he walked to the garden gate, he met a young girl wearing a white pleated skirt. The girl had a delicate face and a slight. Her baby fat face is silky and innocent, and her big eyes are full of innocence. This girl is He Xian's apple, He Tian'er. Chen Heilong's temperament and appearance are extremely lethal to little girls her age. When He Tian'er saw the tall and handsome Chen Heilong, his face turned red uncontrollably. Chen Heilong nodded at her and left with his 3.2 beast servants. He Tian'er secretly watched them. People's backgrounds, it's not until the news comes that they move back into the garden. "Tian'er, where did you go to play today? Didn't I tell you that Haojiang has been a bit chaotic these 2 days, so I asked you not to run around?" He Xian said with a stern expression. "No, Dad, I just went to have a cold drink with a few classmates. Besides, I have bodyguards to protect me, so what can I do?" He Tian'er stuck out his tongue and said, "That's not okay, just stay at home these 2 days and don't go out and run around." "No." He Tian'er rolled his eyes and asked, "Dad, I just met someone at the garden gate. Is he a guest of our family? Why have I never seen him before?" "Stop asking about things that have nothing to do with you." "Cut." He Tian'er pouted. "Forget it. If you don't tell me, I'll ask my mother. As the saying goes, a good daughter is like a mother." He Tian'er's reaction made He Xian's wife see the clues immediately. She smiled and said to He Xian, Xian, Tian'er has grown up now." When He Xian heard this, he immediately reacted, his expression softened slightly, And he couldn't help but joked. Yeah, I didn't expect Tiana to be at the age of lovesickness. Tiana's face suddenly turned red, and he said in a panic, I don't have it. I just asked casually when I saw a guest I didn't know. How can I have any lovesickness? That's it. Xian smiled slyly and said, Originally I said that if you had a good impression, I would introduce you to him next time. Now let's forget it. These words made Tiana hold the hem of her skirt with both hands and rub it back and forth. Her face turned red with embarrassment, and she didn't know how to respond. After Chen Heilong left Heshi Manor, he returned directly to the presidential suite on the top floor of the Lisboa Hotel. In his opinion, the fight with Mo Luobing in the past 2 days was just a small fight, because when He Lianxing entered Haojiang, he definitely needed to set up a scene and make a splash, so that everyone could see the strength of He Lianxing. After a few days of fighting, he has proven his strength. Today, Xian has come out to chat with him. It is also time to give Ma Luobing a hard blow. John Mi, ask the Black Wolf King to come to my place. Chen Heilong rushed to Zhang Nazai and ordered. Yes, boss. After the men led by the Black Wolf King arrived in Haojiang secretly, they remained stationary and hid. In order to avoid alerting the enemy, they temporarily stayed in villas that Chen Heilong rented in advance in Haojiang. After all, Mo Luobing has the advantage of being a local. If they are arranged to stay in a hotel, they can be easily found out. They are Chen Heilong's secret cards, so naturally they cannot be easily discovered by Luobing. Moreover, these guys all look vicious and do not look like good people. Even if they are placed in a residential area, it is difficult not to attract people's attention. The relatively independent living environment of the villa is more convenient for them to hide their identities. After receiving the order, the Black Wolf King came to Chen Heilong in less than 20 minutes before. Boss. Chen Heilong, who was drinking red wine, saw him nodding and poured him a glass. After fighting for these days, it's time to give them something real. As he spoke, Chen Heilong took out 3 photos and pushed them in front of the Black Wolf King, and said directly, The 3 people above are Mo Luobing, Death Dragon, and Shige. Needless to say, Mo Luobing, and the others. These 2 are the core members of the Luobing Divine Brave Society. If you find an opportunity to kill them, the scene will be a little more brutal. Since Luobing is so stubborn, let's just play it big and set off some fireworks to let the people here in Haojiang hear the noise. Since it is a shock, Chen Heilong naturally has to achieve the shock effect, otherwise it will be a little less interesting. Understood, boss, I'll do it right now. There was a bloodthirsty smile on the lips of the Black Wolf King. After the Black Wolf King left, Chen Heilong came to the window with a red wine glass and looked at the Haojiang street from a bird's eye view. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised. I don't know what the Black Wolf King and the others are like. Fireworks, can they add a bright color to this city? The villa area where Chen Heilong arranged for Black Wolf King and the others to move in is at the core of Haojiang. For confidentiality reasons, the 26 gangsters brought by Black Wolf King these days are strictly required to stay in the villa and are not allowed to go out. Fortunately, the rented villa is large enough and has all the necessary daily necessities, otherwise it may not be able to accommodate so many people. With the character of these ruthless bandits, if they had been replaced by a different leader and had to endure the humiliation of not being able to go out for a few days, with so many people crowded together, they would probably have exploded a long time ago. But in front of the Black Wolf King, not only did they not dare to complain, but they felt that this was the way it should be. The Black Wolf King is indispensable for training them like this. He is a social animal in nature. If the wolves want to survive, they must obey the Wolf King's command. Those who dare to disobey the Wolf King's command will only be bitten to death. And this is what the Black Wolf King did when he was training these gangsters on the island. The disobedient thorns had already been blown into a man on the mast of the island pier. The various cruel techniques made these gangsters' legs tremble with fear. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to make these people so obedient. Even though he only has about 100 gangsters under his command now, the number hanging on the island pier is much higher than that, and the number of people has changed several times. However, the Black Wolf King does not have a blindly high-pressure policy. He only does this when performing tasks and training. He usually does not criticize too much, and because they have Chen Heilung as their backer, they can live even if they are overseas. It's very nourishing. You must know that they were wanted and lived a precarious life before. Now they have a big tree to rely on. These people are not fools. So let alone being squeezed into the villa and not being able to go out at will, they wouldn't complain even if they were forced to live in a container eating, drinking and sleeping for a few days. Because of Chen Heilung's arrangements and the Black Wolf King's orders and prohibitions, no one in Haojiang knew that Chen Heilung had hidden such a power in the core area of Haojiang. After the Black Wolf King returned to the villa, he asked his men to call the Pig King. Among the tough gangsters under his command, the Pig King, in addition to being fat, also has the characteristic that he is brave enough, and there is nothing he dare not do. Like the last time I asked him to kill the nigger on Hong Kong Island, this guy went directly to the nigger's lair. He didn't care how many people the nigger had under his command. He just asked his name in person and knocked him down with a shuttle. Brother Wolf. The Pig King is fierce and bold outside, but in front of the Black Wolf King he is very obedient and powerful. The boss needs someone brave enough to do the job. Do you think you are up to the task? Hearing this, the Pig King's eyes immediately lit up. Brother Wolf, I dare say otherwise. When it comes to courage, I am worthy of everyone. Well, the Black Wolf King pushed the photo of Mo Luobing and the 3 people escaping in front of him. The boss said he wanted to watch a fireworks. Tomorrow you use a rocket launcher to blast these 3 and set off a firework for the boss. Hearing this, even a bold character like the Pig King can't help but change his color. Using a rocket launcher in a downtown area is no joke. Haojiang is not a no-nonsense zone in Southeast Asia. In addition, in order to protect its own interests, Portugal still has troops stationed here. If it really goes that big, it will be difficult to end. Seeing his worry, the Black Wolf King comforted him. You don't need to worry too much, Boom. After this, I will immediately arrange for you to get on the boat and leave Haojiang. By the time the officials on Haojiang's side react, you will have already reached the high seas. The boss now has bases all over Southeast Asia and on the high seas. You can live comfortably wherever you go. Is it possible that the Haojiang side can send warships to arrest you for a few dwarf mules? Hearing this, the Pig King finally felt relieved. Although the risk of using powerful firearms in the downtown area is not small, the targets are just a few short mules after all. The main thing is not to be caught on the spot. The world can be gone. With Qin Black Dragon's current influence in Southeast Asia means that wherever you go, you can enjoy the food and drink. Last time on Hong Kong Island, it was not like shooting in the bustling city, but there was nothing wrong. I spent a few days in Taigua, and I was very happy. Understand, Brother Wolf, leave this matter to me. The next day, in the office of Platinum Casino, Mo Luobing was holding the account book and checking the accounts with a frown. The fight with Chen Heilung in the past 2 days caused him heavy losses. He had more than a dozen casinos in his hands. Now less than half of them can still operate normally, but even these few that can operate normally are in a helpless state. Take the Platinum Casino as an example. He has 3 gambling halls here, but because of his fight with Chen Heilung it was so intense that customers didn't dare to come at all, for fear of being accidentally injured in a fight. Not only did he have few customers in the gambling halls of this casino, but it even affected other gambling halls in the same casino. There have been many casinos in the past 2 days. The boss sent him a message that if he continued to do so, he would no longer have to contract the gambling hall. If 1 or 2 bosses said this, he could still fight back with his own strength, but now there are far more than 1 person who said this to him. He has 2 bosses, but he has not yet reached the point where he can ignore all the bosses. In addition, what is more serious is that he now has a problem with funds. The club fights based on who has the stronger capital. Every time he fights, he will have to pay for it. There is an appearance fee, medical expenses if you are injured, resettlement expenses if you die, travel expenses and resettlement expenses if you kill someone, plus the reward he promised at the beginning was too high, and now he can't make ends meet. Before the fight, he also had I didn't expect that the fight would be like this. He Lianxing's side obviously needed more money than his side, but not only did they not show any signs of decline, they also became more and more courageous as they fought. They just cut down dozens of them today, and tomorrow the same number of soldiers were sent from Hong Kong Island and the injured were transported back to Hong Kong Island for treatment. As the situation worsened, it became increasingly difficult for them to fight. At the beginning, they were evenly matched. There was an obvious decline yesterday. But his sunk costs have already been invested, so he can only continue to increase the amount and grit his teeth. Today I came to check the accounts to see how much of the arrears have not been collected, so as to make up for the shortfall. What happened to this account? Ma Liuobing slammed the account book to the ground and yelled at Ming Long. These two gamblers owe so much money, why haven't they recovered it yet? Hearing this, Death Dragon hurriedly picked up the account book and checked it, and then explained. Boss, these two are our regular customers. The repayment date has not yet come, and they have also paid the interest in the past few months. Always delivered on time. Then let them pay it back in advance, not even a dime less, including the principal and interest. This? Death Dragon was in a bit of a dilemma. If these two customers were the ones who had no ability to repay, that would be fine. They had plenty of ways to make the other party spit out the debt. But these two regular customers are the ones with some capital, and they come here several times a month. For such high-quality customers, they will usually take the initiative to extend the term even if the payment is not due, just to retain the customers and keep the flow flowing. Some make money. If you come to ask for money before the account is due, it will definitely arouse customers' resentment, and they will not come to their casino again after paying back the money. As the saying goes, single-ticket double gambling, gamblers usually go out to play with friends, and rarely come alone, which means that offending a gambler is equivalent to offending a group of gamblers. If this kind of news about people coming to ask for debts before the due date spreads, their reputation will be ruined, and no one will come to invite them in the future. Even the Death Dragon understands the truth, and people like Ma Liuobing who have been involved in Haojiang for decades naturally know it even better. His behavior is killing the goose that lays the goose, and he will lose most of his customers if he fails to do so. But at this moment, he had no choice at all. He had just booked a few new gambling halls some time ago, which took up a large amount of his funds. The funds at hand were not much to begin with. This war with Chen Heilung would make it even more difficult. It caused major problems in his capital chain. The guys below have to be supplied with real money every time they start a fight. If they dare not have enough money even once, then they are waiting to be overwhelmed by He Lianxing. If he can't get over this wave, he won't even have a future, so how can he care about other things? I don't need to listen to reasons. I immediately asked junket operator to collect these two debts. Yes, boss. Faced with Ma Liuobing's tough attitude, Death Dragon could not say anything more and immediately arranged for his junket operator to go find the two gamblers to collect the money. After handling these matters, Death Dragon followed Ma Liuobing. The car returned to the entrance of the hall. After the war with Chen Heilung, Ma Liuobing strengthened his security protection. His elite gunmen are now always guarding him. Even if he goes to bed at night, there are young men guarding the doors and windows. This is especially true when traveling. There are 8 cars in total, including the 3 in the front and the 4 in the back, plus his own car. He can respond quickly no matter what problems he encounters. After leaving the Platinum Casino, he sat on the road car not long after leaving. Death Dragon found 3 vans behind their convoy. Death Dragon picked up the onboard intercom and connected to Ma Liuobing's car, which was protected in the middle. Boss, our convoy seems to be followed by someone. It depends on the situation. Most likely from He Lianxing's side. When Ma Liuobing heard this, a disdainful smile appeared on his face. What can I do if I keep up? This is a bulletproof car, and there are so many bodyguards around. They can only stare and see what they can do to me. Just like Chen Heilung's car, his car is also a specially customized bulletproof model. After all, there are more gangsters in Haojiang than in Hong Kong Island. If you don't even have a bulletproof car, how can you qualify to be called a boss? Including Death Dragon had the same idea. He reported to Mo Luo Bing and found out that it was just his duty. He didn't think that the three vans could do anything to them. Even leaving aside Mo Luo Bing's bulletproof vehicle, these cars around him were at least there were 20 or 30 gunmen sitting there, and even if there was a fight, they would win without losing, and they were not afraid of a war at all. But he only maintained this confidence for less than a minute, before his eyes widened and he was filled with death. Because he saw the three people behind him. In the middle of the van, the sunroof suddenly opened, and an extremely fat man popped out of the sunroof, carrying a rocket launcher on his shoulders. "Boss, bazooka!" Death Dragon shouted into the walkie-talkie. When he heard the three words, bazooka, Moro Bing didn't realize what the situation was, but when his eyes caught sight of the van overtaking from the side, his whole face changed. He was shocked to death. How could he have imagined that Chen Heilun would be so heartless as to use such a toy? Damn it, is that bastard Keishalong crazy? He started a war with a rocket launcher in a downtown area. Hurry up and speed up to pass him and let other cars stop him. Mo Luo Bing yelled in panic. Needless to say, the driver of his car must have stepped on the accelerator to get away from the van, but Mo Luo Bing let other cars block him. It can only be said that he was thinking too much. He has these. It is true that the bodyguards worked hard for him, and they dared to attack him when they encountered fire, but everyone is equal under the rocket launcher, and who is willing to die in vain? Even if there are bold people who want to shoot and kill the Pig King carrying the rocket launcher, but the Pig King, the people in the three vans were not vegetarians. They were suppressed by direct fire and could not even look out. In this environment, even if the driver of Moro Bing wanted to rush out, he would not be able to escape. Call out. A soul-stirring sound sounded, and Mo Luo Bing watched helplessly as the rocket headed straight towards his car. No. Boom. The bulletproof vehicle was directly blasted from the ground by rockets, then flipped 180 degrees and fell heavily to the ground. After firing the rockets, the three vans immediately turned around and left quickly. Over at Mo Luo Bing, Death Dragon, who was sitting on the driver's car, jumped out of the car and came to help. I have to say that the quality of the bulletproof vehicle is really good. It survived a rocket without being exploded, but the body of the vehicle burst into flames. Put out the fire quickly. Dean Minglong called his younger brother to put out the fire while using a crowbar to pry the car door. In order to prevent attacks on bulletproof cars like Mo Luo Bing, the car doors and locks are specially made. Without a key, it is difficult to open it with only external force. But the rocket fired just now deformed the car door, which gave Death Dragon the opportunity to pry it open. Otherwise, he would have to watch Mo Luo Bing being burned to death in the car. But even so, when he finally got Mo Luo Bing out, when Luo Bing was dragged out of the car, the unconscious Mo Luo Bing was still on fire, and there was a burning smell in the air. After the bodyguard put out the fire on Mo Luo Bing's body with a car-mounted fire extinguisher, although Mo Luo Bing could still be seen breathing, it was obvious that most of his life was gone. Death Dragon immediately sent him to Haojiang No. 1 hospital without stopping. After the news of the attack on Mo Luo Bing's convoy came out, the whole Haojiang was in an uproar. No one thought that Chen Heilun would be so crazy that he used a rocket launcher to blast Moro Bing into the sky in the downtown area. Witnesses claimed that when Mo Luo Bing was sent to the hospital, a large area of his body was severely burned. Even if he managed to save his life, he was afraid that he would suffer serious sequelae in the future. This is the first time such a bad attack has occurred since Haojiang was opened as a port. For a time, all the policemen in Haojiang went crazy. Not only did they seal off all the docks, ferries, airports and other places, they also conducted door-to-door checks. Wanted notices were posted all over the city to ensure that nothing was missed. After all, the Pig King showed up this time, and he also had a killer weapon like a bazooka in his hand. Ding! Seeing that the light at the door of the operating room went out, Death Dragon and his younger brothers hurried to the door of the operating room to wait for the doctor's feedback. Doctor, how is my boss? After several hours of rescue, the patient was out of danger. The doctor said. However, the patient suffered severe burns over a large area of his body and will need to undergo a series of subsequent treatments. The possibility of complications cannot be ruled out. Can I see my boss? Dean Minglong asked. Severe burn patients like Moro Bing have to stay in the intensive care unit for a period of time even after the operation. Generally speaking, the intensive care unit prohibits visits by the patient's family members, but in front of the doctor, how dare you say no to members of the community like Death Dragon? However, Death Dragon also knew the situation of his boss, so he did not bring his other brothers, but he and the doctor went to the intensive care unit to visit Moro Bing, who was bossing around most of the day. At this moment, he was covered in bandages like a mummy, and his whole body was connected to various devices for monitoring vital signs. The sight of this miserable sight made Death Dragon break into a cold sweat on his spine. This was still an arrogant figure in his eyes. Are you guys? The bulletproof car that Mo Luobing was riding in is now like this. If he was the one who attacked at that time, I'm afraid he would have been blown to pieces. Boss. The Death Dragon called softly. The patient is still in a deep coma and will not react to external stimuli. The doctor said. Then when will my boss wake up? It's hard to say. It could be 1 or 2 days, it could be 10 days and a half month, or it could be longer. I can't give an accurate answer to this. After coming out of the intensive treatment department, Death Dragon immediately mobilized a large number of young men to guard the hospital to protect Mo Luobing's safety. On the other side, in Hexian Manor, Hexian was drinking tea in the garden with his friend Guiyingnan. Guiyingnan was considered Hexian. They were childhood friends and close friends. They came to Haojiang to work together in the early years, but in the end he stayed in Haojiang to work in the gambling industry, while Guiyingnan started a real estate business, and now it has become a well-known business in Southeast Asia. Boss. The two of them are very close. After all, they have been brothers since childhood. The brothers have a very deep relationship. They often move around each other. Basically, they will sit together every once in a while to chat and drink tea. Even the relationship between the two was once rumored to be a good story. Hexian, when I came back this time, I suddenly found that Haojiang was very lively. People are being stabbed on the streets every day. A little thing, it will pass in a few days. How is your business recently? SOSO, I have recently acquired some new land and am planning to build one. While the two were chatting, Gao hurried to the garden. Mr. He. When Gao greeted him, he glanced at Guiyingnan. Big guys like Guiyingnan are all human beings. He knew what he meant when he saw that look in his eyes. He took the initiative to say, You guys chat, I'll go chat with Ame. Need not. Hexian raised his hand to stop him, and then said dissatisfied to a Gao who was about to speak. Mr. Gui is not an outsider. If you have any questions, just say it. Yes. Gao first cast an apologetic look at Guiyingnan, and then said, The conflict between Caishenlong and Mo Luobing escalated. His men used rocket launchers in the downtown area to blast Mo Luobing's car into the sky. Now the entire police force in Haojiang went crazy, going from house to search for the culprit. Hearing this, Hexian's face instantly became extremely ugly. He didn't expect that Chen Halem would dare to play such a big role. Although the two parties in the street fight had casualties on each other, no one used firearms, which kept the situation under control. Within the range. Now that we have taken out the rocket launchers and other big killers, and they are still used in the downtown area, who knows if there will be more noise below. Guiyingnan on the side couldn't help but get excited when he heard this. He pursed his lips with a look of astonishment on his face. Is this guy crazy? He dares to use such a big weapon on the street, such as a rocket launcher. Hexian, these young men are really fierce now, much more fierce than we were back then. Congratulations, a few inexplicable looks flashed in his eyes. After thinking for a moment, he took out his phone and called Chen Halem. Black Dragon, if it's convenient tonight, come to my house for a quick meal. Okay, Mr. He, I will be there on time. Chen Heilung, who was sitting on the presidential sofa on the top floor of the Lisboa Hotel, responded with a smile. Before asking the Black Wolf King to arrange for people to set off the fireworks, he had already made preparations to meet He Xian again. After all, he had made such a big fuss. He Xian could not turn a blind eye. That night, Chen Heilung drove to He Xian's manor with a large number of beast servants. After getting off the car, what made Chen Heilung a little strange was that the person who received him was not the housekeeper of the manor, but He Xian's daughter, He Tian'er. Today, He Tian'er is wearing a beige dress, and her slim appearance looks particularly lovely. Hello, Mr. Chen, my dad asked me to pick you up. Sorry, Miss Tian'er. Chen Heilung nodded. Just such a simple conversation made He Tian'er's cheeks turn red again. The last time she met Chen Heilung, she only had a quick glance and didn't have time to take a closer look. This time, she took this opportunity to have a close conversation. After careful observation, she found that Chen Heilung was even more handsome than she had remembered. Especially that voice, which was full of magnetism and masculine aura. When she heard it, she couldn't help but feel like a deer in her heart. At that time, women really had no resistance to handsome and tall men. But after taking Chen Heilung to the restaurant, she had nothing to do. A big man like He Xian was very particular even when he asked someone to eat. Even if the partners eat, they will eat in restaurants outside, and they will have dinner at home only if they go up a level. As for family dinners, only those with very close relationships can be invited, such as Guiying An, Chen Heilung, and this is the second time He Xian has met. Naturally, the relationship between them has not reached the level of intimacy that allows family members to be together, including He Tian'er's reception today. If He Tian'er hadn't taken the initiative to beg for a long time, this matter would not have happened. It should be done by the housekeeper. Now that people are here, it is naturally inconvenient for He Tian'er to stay here. In the few days you have been in Haojiang, I'm afraid you haven't had time to taste our local delicacies. He Xian smiled and said, Today I specially asked the chef to make Haojiang's special delicacy Bawang Babao braised duck. You can try it. Thank you, Mr. He. Chen Heilung didn't say much. He picked up his chopsticks and took a bite. Bawang Babao braised duck is one of the top 10 famous dishes in Haojiang. The production process is complicated. After washing the duck, smear the inside and outside with sauce and leave it for 2 hours, steam for 20 minutes, then mix with fillings such as glutinous rice, shiitake mushrooms, scallops, ginkgo, lotus seeds, etc., and stew for more than 3 hours. However, the finished product tastes quite good, the meat is soft and tender, and the fillings it is fragrant and soft, and has a rich flavor after being dipped in the soup. After tasting it, Chen Heilung couldn't help but praise. This dish tastes really delicious. You can try this crock pot soup chicken wings again. During the meal, He Xian did not talk about anything about the conflict between Chen Heilung and Mo Luobing, but only introduced the food. After the meal, He Xian invited him to the garden to drink tea, and then he talked about the main thing that invited him here this time. This time you made the matter too big. The Haojiang officials are going crazy and setting up checks everywhere. Although they have no evidence and can't do anything to you, if the trouble with the officials is too ugly, it will be very harmful to you and all of you. The development of associations in Haojiang is not good, so you have to give an explanation to the officials. Clear? Chen Heilung nodded. He Lianqing's big visit this time must be aimed at settling in Haojiang. 14K knows this, He Xian knows it, and Haojiang officials also know it. If Chen Heilung just wants to vent his anger, of course there is no need. What kind of explanation should I give him? He slapped me on the butt and left. Haojiang officials had no conclusive evidence, and could only stare. But since he wanted to settle in Haojiang, he had to give an explanation to the officials. Otherwise, the officials would not be able to gain face and would not let him. Better than. These are photos and information of a murderer who used a rocket launcher in a downtown area. The murderer's name is Pig King and he is from Taigua. Chen Heilung took out the information he had prepared and handed it to He Xian. This surprised He Xian. You just handed the person over? Mr. He, don't get me wrong. Chen Heilung smiled and said, This person has nothing to do with me, but if something like this happens at this juncture, I am definitely the biggest suspect, so I can only use my connections to help investigate. You know, I am still somewhat capable in Southeast Asia. It is not difficult to find these. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. I think it is enough to hand these to the Haojiang policemen. As for whether they can catch them, it depends on their abilities. He Xian didn't believe a word of Chen Heilung's previous words. It would be damned if Chen Heilung hadn't done this. But it's normal not to admit it. With the information about the murderer, at least it's an explanation. As for the Haojiang official who got it, if the information still fails to catch anyone, you can't blame others. After picking up the information and looking through it twice, He Xian was able to conclude that the information given by Chen Heilung was the murderer who fired the rocket launcher on the street. After all, there were more than one witnesses at the time. 2 people, many people have seen the appearance of the murderer. The policeman even showed a picture of the figure, but it is not as intuitive as the photos in the file. The file not only contains the picture of the Pig King, but also the various cases he committed. This guy committed many murders when he was in Taigua, and is wanted nationwide by Taigua policemen. What this murderer did has nothing to do with me. Please help tell the Haojiang policemen not to cause trouble for me. It's okay if I need to cooperate with the investigation, but if they want to cause trouble, please find evidence first. After all, I am a legal person and my team of lawyers is very large, Chen Heilung said. Hearing this, He Xian was a little silent. As far as he knew, Chen Heilung had bases in Taigua and Jinsangio areas, and he had many of these desperados. It would be a big deal if these desperados finished the case. If you hide in the Golden Triangle or on the high seas, the police will be able to find out the ghost. As for the Haojiang officials, it is even less likely to find out the connection between Chen Heilung and the murderer. Otherwise, they would have come to look for Chen Heilung with a search warrant, and where would they be? He can stay comfortably in his hotel. But this has nothing to do with him. Let the policemen have their own headaches. In this case, I will forward this information to the Haojiang officials and ask them to hunt for this Pig King. He Xindao. As it should be. Chen Heilung nodded. After the serious talk, the two chatted for a while, and then Chen Heilung said goodbye and left. On the way back, Chen Heilung took out his phone and called the Black Wolf King. Black Wolf King, send the Pig King's secret right away. The original plan was for the Pig King to run away after setting off the fireworks, but because the rocket did not kill any of the 3 targets, the Pig King was not in a hurry to leave and was still planning a new round of attacks. But now, after talking to He Xian, the Pig King's information has been sent over. The next step will definitely be a citywide manhunt. The Pig King is no longer suitable to show up in Haojiang. With Chen Heilung's current ability, even if Haojiang has been officially blocked in all terminals and airports, it is still a simple matter for him to send someone away. Yes, boss, I will send the Pig King away right now, the Black Wolf King replied. That night the Black Wolf King took the Pig King to a remote beach in Haojiang. Although the Haojiang police officer at this time was strictly controlling all areas, in fact, he was carrying out specific orders. They don't want to meet gangsters who dare to launch rockets in the downtown area. After all, no one's life matters. So they don't check such inaccessible places closely. After the Black Wolf King came to the beach, he used a bright flashlight to point at the sea. The direction flickered a few times, and lights immediately came back from the sea. Not long after, a fishing boat slowly approached the shore. This fishing boat had been prepared for a long time, and could arrange for the Pig King to evacuate at any time. If it hadn't been bombarded, if Mo Luobing died, the Pig King should have boarded this ship yesterday night. The boss will send you to Jinsanjiao first. When you arrive at Jinsanjiao, someone will pick you up. Stay at the arranged place for now. Do you understand? The Black Wolf King warned the Pig King. Clear. Brother Wolf, don't worry, I won't cause trouble for the boss, Pig King said. The Black Wolf King patted the Pig King on the shoulder. then get on the boat quickly. After the Pig King boarded the fishing boat, the boss of the boat opened the fishing cabin containing the fish and let the Pig King hide in. This fishing boat has been specially modified. There is a dark room in the fishing cabin, which not only has beds and bathrooms, but also a place for external observation. With dark windows and vents, people hiding inside will not only not feel suffocated, but can also observe the outside world at any time. If danger is discovered, they can also open the secret door and dive out from the bottom of the ship. In addition, after people hide in, the boss of the ship can also the fishing cabin will be immediately filled with seawater, and even if there is a coastal patrol, nothing will be detected. The Black Wolf King stood on the shore and watched the fishing boat disappear into the night before turning around and leaving. The Pig King, the instigator, is now here. Once they left, no matter how much the Haojiang police officers turned Haojiang upside down, they still couldn't find anyone. Although the Haojiang police officers also knew that this matter must be related to Chen Heilong, they didn't have anything on hand. There was no evidence, and Chen Heilong was not a small character, so there was nothing he could do except stare. At the hospital, Mo Luobing woke up earlier than the doctor expected, and woke up from coma the next day. Just now. When he woke up, Mo Luobing was still a little confused. He only felt pain in his body. After the doctor completed a round of examination, Wang Qianhao, he recalled why he was in the hospital. Thinking of that time, he was helpless. Seeing the scene of rockets flying towards him, he couldn't help but tremble with fear. He was really scared now. He didn't expect Chen Heilong to be so crazy that he couldn't even play with rocket launchers. Take it out and ask him to fight his neighbors. Although he has many elite gunmen and a lot of firearms, he has the courage to use semi-automatic ones. Most of the time, they are black stars, and at most there are a few grenades. They don't dare to touch big killer weapons like rocket launchers, and they don't have channels to buy them. How can we fight with others with the ones we have now? And this is just the beginning. Who knows if there will be anything else in the future? A big killer, since someone dared to use a rocket launcher to blast his car in the street, and then to use a rocket launcher to blast his home, he had no confidence that he could escape the next attack. When the Death Dragon heard that the boss had woken up, he quickly came to Xinxia visit to the treatment department ward. Aaron. Mo Luobing, whose vocal cords were burned, lay on the hospital bed hoarsely and said to Minglong, "I made a miscalculation this time. Since I have already lost, there is no need to continue fighting. You go contact Yulankan. This time let him help be the intermediary, and we will give in and cease the war." At this point, Mo Luobing has no courage or ability to continue fighting. His funds are already stretched thin. If he continues, he is afraid that he will die without a chance to be discharged from the hospital. "Got it, boss, I'll contact you right away." Death Dragon was still frightened at this time. He almost had a close call with death and had no courage to continue fighting. Even if Mo Luobing wanted to continue, he would still ask for a truce. Now that Mo Luobing can take the initiative, there will be no objections. The reason why Ma Luobing found Yulankan as a middleman is because he has several gambling halls that are contracted by Yulankan Casino, and the relationship between the two parties is not bad. And a big fisherman like Yulankan, he has a wide network of contacts in all aspects, so it would be easier to ask him to come forward to talk. After leaving the intensive treatment department, Death Dragon called Yulankan and explained what Luobing meant. Yulankan had long wanted the two sides to stop. He had also given Mo Luobing a message before, asking him to sit down and have a good talk with Chen Heilong. After all, this matter was ultimately tricked by Mo Luobing and Lianxing. Big D, he also chopped someone up afterwards, which was completely unreasonable. But Mo Luobing was so arrogant at that time that he didn't take the God of Wealth Dragon seriously at all. He felt that even if Chen Heilong had the advantage in numbers, he would be the one who had the last laugh. After all, it was his home court and he could bear it. Now I am afraid of being beaten, so I come to beg him to mediate. If it weren't for the fact that his casino business was involved, Yulankan would have just stood aside and watched the joke at the moment, and wouldn't have paid much attention at all. After hanging up the phone, Ulankin came to the hospital with his bodyguards in less than an hour. Mr. Can. Dead Life Dragon said hello? Ulankin nodded, with no other expression on his face. Take me to see Moro Bing. After following Death Dragon into the intensive care unit, he happened to encounter a nurse changing Mo Luo Bing's dressing. Seeing the miserable state of Mo Luo Bing's body, he couldn't help but take a breath. Mo Luo Bing suffered from multiple deep burns on his body. Because skin grafting is required in the later stage, the affected area needs to be cleaned and the necrotic skin removed during the initial treatment. The process is almost the same as peeling. At this time, Moro Bing has no skin on most parts of his body, and even in the fishing pen, a veteran like Chan could see cold sweats running down his spine. After finally waiting for the nurse to change the medicine amidst Mo Luo Bing's cries of pain, Ulankin calmed down and stepped forward. I heard Death Dragon say, "Are you ready to make peace with Fortune Dragon?" Mr. Can. Mo Luo Bing, who was holding back the pain, his cheeks twitched as he spoke. I was the one who caused this incident, and you can see how I am now. That guy is a lunatic. I'm afraid I won't be able to save my life if he continues to fight. So I want to ask you to mediate as an intermediary. I'm willing to pay you 50 million to act as an intermediary, plus the favor you owed me before. Ulankin owed Moro Bing a favor for some things a long time ago. Although the favor was not worth much, it was used in this place and he couldn't refuse it. After all, big guys like them also want some face. Yeah, if you don't repay a favor, it will be spread all over the world, whether it's good or bad. Since you are talking about this, I will make a trip for you, but I can't guarantee whether Keishenlong can give this old guy this face. Understood, please trouble Mr. Can. After Ulankin left Ma Luo Bing, he called a Gao at the Lisboa Hotel. Gao, is the God of Fortune Dragon still in your hotel now? Master Can, aren't you trying to embarrass me? You know the rules set by Mr. He. I can't reveal the privacy of VIPs casually. A Gao on the other end of the phone replied. Don't worry, I'm not here to cause trouble for him, but to act as a lobbyist for Moro Bing to mediate the conflicts between them. Sorry, Mr. Chan, even so, I need to ask Mr. Chen before I can give you an answer. All right. Although Ulankin is a little helpless, it's hard to say anything. He and He Tian are both Haojiang casino tycoons. They know what is the foundation of the casino. There are many dignitaries who can come to Haojiang Casino to play. These people are very concerned about privacy. He took it very seriously. Even if he just asked about something as trivial as whether Chen Heilong was at the Lisboa Hotel, it was really difficult for Gao to answer. Even if he switched to his casino, He Xian would call and ask for the same reason. Hang up. After disconnecting the phone, Ulankin thought for a moment. Waiting here is just waiting anyway. It would be better to go directly to the Lisboa Hotel to wait, which would also appear more sincere. On the other side, in the VIP room of the Lisboa Hotel and Casino, Chen Heilong I am playing stud with a few gamblers. Unlike Baccarat, stud is limited in the number of people and cards. Generally, there are a maximum of 5 people and only 1 deck of cards. At the beginning, the dealer gives each house 2 cards, and the participants take after receiving the cards. The second card will be automatically revealed. Every time a card is dealt, bets will be placed counterclockwise from the one with the larger card. The priority bettor can choose to add or not to add or give up. When others place bets, you can consider whether to follow or raise the bet. When the 4th card is dealt, you can choose shuttle to increase the bet to the maximum allowed ship value. Players in the 3rd and 4th rounds can use the cards and whole cards are exchanged, that is, you can choose to change cards or not. Participants who have received all 5 cards will turn over the whole cards and compare the size after the last round of betting. Stud compares the card type first, before comparing the size. If the card types are the same, then compare the numbers. If the cards lose, then the suits will be compared to determine the winner. According to the card types, from big to small, they are a straight flush, a straight of the same suit, an iron branch, 4 cards with the same number, and a full house, 3 cards. The cards with the same number include a pair, flush, straight, 3 of a kind, 2 pairs, and scattered cards. According to the numbers, A is the bigger, and 2 is the smallest. According to the suit, it is spades, hearts, peach, grass, diamonds. Play this game with both luck and courage. It's important. After all, no one except the cheater will know what card he will get next. The previous cards are all very good, and there shouldn't be too many examples of the last card falling into the dust. But this game is not suitable for Chen Heilung. Yen feels like a fish in water. When he bets, he is not empty-handed at all. As long as the first 3 cards are not too bad, he will follow until the end. Because of his style of play, those companies often cannot hold on to the last card. So he folded and made a lot of money. Brother Black Dragon, Gab, you won again. He Tianer, who was leaning on Chen Heilung's left hand, said happily. He Min, who was sitting on Chen Heilung's right, heard the congratulations and felt indescribable in her heart. Although she is with Chen Heilung every day now, she knows very well that because of his identity, he didn't dare to act jealously, not to mention that the ant was still the apple of He Xian's eye. Ever since Tianer found out that Chen Heilung played at the Lisboa casino every day, he came over to pester him every day. The Lisboa casino is He Xian's property. Everyone in the casino knows their eldest lady. No matter where they go, there is no obstruction, including the VIP room where Chen Heilung enters. The little girl's thoughts are reflected on her face, and Chen Heilung naturally sees it too. There was no reason why Tianer came here every day, but he was not disgusted with this kind of little girl who wanted to get close to him. Of course, his own identity also played an important role, and Chen Heilung also maintained enough respect for her. Respect, after all, this is the apple of He Xian's eye. Let me help you look at your cards this time. Okay, Brother Black Dragon. Okay, then come and help me look at it. Chen Heilung smiled. The dealer handed down the cards. When Tianer was about to read the cards, Ageo came to the VIP room and carefully whispered in Chen Heilung's ear. Mr. Chen, Yulankin wants to talk to you. Let's meet. I wonder if it's convenient for you. Chen Heilung raised his eyebrows. Where is he now? He is in another box now, but he doesn't know that you are also in the casino. He just asked me to contact you for help. Oh? Chen Heilung couldn't help but take a high look at Agao's handling of the matter. At the same time, he also had a clear understanding of how He Xian could make the casinos so big. In this case, when I finish playing this card, I will go over and meet him. It also gives Yulankin some face. Okay. After Chen Heilung finished playing this card, he followed Agao to the box on the other side of the casino. It was obvious that the distance was deliberately arranged by Agao to avoid the embarrassing situation he encountered with Yulankin if he didn't want to meet here. After entering the box, Chen Heilung saw a tall and thin middle-aged man sitting on the sofa smoking a cigar. Because he had seen the photo, he recognized this person at a glance as Yulankin, another tycoon of Haojiang Casino. Yulankin started from a young age, and he does have the temperament of a big shot. Mr. Chen, would you like a cigar? This is an authentic Guba product. Yulankin immediately greeted Chen Heilung warmly after seeing him come in. Thank you. Chen Heilung was not too polite. He took the cigar and started burning it with a lighter. I wonder what Mr. Ken has come to see me for today? Moro Bing wants me to be a middleman to mediate the conflicts between you. If you have any requests, just ask, Yulankin said. After hearing this, Chen Heilung smiled lightly, lit the cigar, took a deep breath, and said slowly. When I asked him to give an explanation before, he didn't take advantage of the opportunity and clamored to trample me to death. Now that he is scared, he comes to beg me for reconciliation. How can anything in the world be so cheap? There is only one way to be my enemy, and you will end up feeding fishes in the sea. Please go back and tell him to prepare his own coffin. Chen Heilung is now no worse than Yulankin and He Xian in terms of resources, number of subordinates, weapons and equipment, and status in the world. Even if He Xian, a top-notch boss in Haojiang, and Chen Heilung are peers, you have to be polite to him. If Chen Heilung doesn't want to give anyone face, it won't be easy even if the King of Heaven comes. And his words are not beyond Ulankin's expectations. After all, the rockets have been used, so what? Maybe with such an anticlimactic end, he came to be the middleman just because he owed Ma Luobing a favor. As for whether the negotiation could be concluded or not, it had nothing to do with him, and he didn't want to get involved too much. After all, Chan Hailung's strength was there, and he was no worse than him. And he is not willing to offend such a strong man just for the sake of Mo Luobing. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Understood. Since Mr. Qin is not willing, then I will just go and reply to Moro Bing. Good. While the two of them were talking, outside the hospital where Mo Luobing lived, in an inconspicuous van at the intersection, the Black Wolf King handed over the information about Mo Luobing's hospitalization that he had just obtained to a man with a mouth. This man is also one of the gangsters under the Black Wolf King. No one knows his original name, but now in the world, everyone calls him Doctor. The doctor's previous occupation was a professional killer, but he was also working in a large hospital. He worked as a doctor and was very skilled in medicine, especially good at disguise. Because the order he took offended the boss, he had to flee to the sea to make a living. After the Black Wolf King destroyed the gang where he was, he took him under his command. The Pig King did not complete the task. Now he has been handed over to him by the Black Wolf King. The target is in the intensive care unit of this hospital. There are many boys guarding the door. However, those boys cannot enter the intensive care unit. You go in and kill him. Keep your hands and feet clean. Clear! The doctor may have done too much assassination work, so he was not nervous at all about this matter. After carefully studying the information, he opened the door and got out of the car. In the hospital, whether it is medical staff or patients, many of them carry the mask was as inconspicuous as a drop of water blending into water after he entered the hospital. After entering the hospital, he did not go directly to the intensive care unit. Instead, he walked around the hospital several times to familiarize himself with the environment. This is also the qualities that a professional killer should have. After all, there are often some gaps between information and reality. A single oversight may kill him. After making some preparations in multiple locations, he came to the doctor's lounge of the intensive care unit. This hospital is a private hospital, and the treatment for doctors is very generous. All doctors and above have independent lounges. After finding the corresponding lounge, the doctor knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock! Mo Luobing's attending doctor was leaning on the sofa in the lounge to read information when he heard a knock on the door, and casually said, "Come in." Seeing a stranger wearing a mask come in, the attending doctor thought he was the patient's family member, said with some dissatisfaction, "It's my rest time now. If anything happens, come to the doctor's office to find me during my working hours. Please don't disturb my rest." He has experienced this kind of harassment a lot, and has long been used to it, and has his own way of dealing with it. The more aggressive he is at times like this, the more aggressive the patient's family will be. So, without waiting for the doctor to speak, he got up and planned to push the doctor out. "Have you misunderstood? I'm not here to inquire about the patient's condition, but I need your help with something." "What's up?" The attending doctor frowned. "Let me lend you my identity." Before the attending doctor could react, the doctor reached out and slashed the back of his neck with a knife, and the patient fainted. The doctor dragged him into the restroom next to him, put him in a sleeping position, and then put on his ID card, and walked towards the intensive care department. Because he is a doctor himself, he is very familiar with the procedures in the hospital. Plus, wearing a mask and hat, he encountered no obstacles along the way and successfully entered the intensive care department. But at the entrance of the intensive treatment department, the boys who were guarding Mo Luobing still searched him. This was also ordered by Death Dragon. He felt that since Chan Hailung dared to use a rocket launcher on the street, he must also dare to send people to the hospital to assassinate him. Moro Bing, so we attach great importance to safety work. If the doctor came yesterday, not only would he be searched, but he would also be asked to take off his mask and let the medical staff of the intensive care unit verify his identity before he is released. But now, because of the doctors, Luo Bing entrusted Yu Lankan to be the intermediary to find Chen Heilung to make peace, which eased the tension in their hearts a little, and the examination was not so strict. The doctor passed the examination and entered the intensive treatment department, and came to Moro when he was in front of Bing's hospital bed. Moro Bing asked him hoarsely, "Doctor, I feel a little pain in my back. Could it be an infection?" "It doesn't matter, you won't be in pain right away." These words made Moro Bing feel something was wrong. "Brother Heilung asked me to say hello to you." After the doctor finished speaking, he waved his hand gently, and the sharp scalpel immediately cut off Moro Bing's trachea and aorta. Bah! After the aorta and the neck was cut, a stream of blood flew more than 2 meters high. Killed someone. When the medical staff in the intensive care unit saw this scene, they were stunned for a moment, then screamed violently and rushed out. But the doctor still stared at Moro Bing unhurriedly, making sure that he died before leaving. If the carotid artery ruptures and the wound is deep, the bleeding will be very fast. Death usually takes a few minutes, or it may be instantaneous. Moro Bing's younger brother, who was guarding outside the intensive care unit, saw the medical staff rushing out shouting, "Kill someone." He knew something was wrong, so he hurriedly pushed the medical staff away and rushed in. As soon as the boy in front rushed in, the doctor who had confirmed Moro Bing's death stabbed him in the throat with a flying knife, and also grabbed his gun. Although the men guarding the hospital were all elite men, they were still far behind professional killers like doctors. Several of them were killed by doctors in just one meeting. After repelling the first wave of people, the doctor evacuated out of the hospital according to the established route. Before entering the intensive care unit, he placed a smoke bomb in a potted plant in the corridor, took out the pull tab as he walked, and quickly let the hospital became filled with smoke. The younger brother from Moro Bing's side who came to support him lost his target within a few steps. After the doctors all came out and sat in the car, Moro Bing's boys were still looking for the murderer everywhere in the hospital. "How about it? Did you kill the target?" asked the Black Wolf King. "I saw him die with my own eyes." Hearing this, the Black Wolf King took out his mobile phone and called Chen Heilung. "Boss, Moro Bing has been killed." "No." After Chen Heilung hung up the phone, he called the plane and the others again. "Mo Luo Bing is dead. You should go grab his territory immediately to avoid being plucked." The news of Ma Yuobing's death soon spread throughout Haojiang, and the whole Haojiang was shocked for a while. In any case, Mo Luo Bing was also the #1 brother in the Haojiang world, and he was slaughtered like a chicken, which made many people feel that the news was a bit ridiculous for a while. I heard that Mo Luo Bing's younger brother spread the news, saying that Mo Luo Bing entrusted Yu Lankan to mediate the dispute, and even negotiated with Lianxing on any terms. As a result, the last news only came out a while ago, and Mo Luo Bing was already swabbed on the neck in the hospital. In order to verify this news, many people on the road even sent their subordinates to go to the hospital to check or make phone calls to ask for information. Although Death Dragon knows something about the situation, he can't even take care of himself at the moment. He has no time to help others answer questions. Now his whole body is numb. Mo Luo Bing's power has developed to a position that almost dominates the Haojiang underground society, all due to Mo Luo Bing's personal ability. Although this guy is crazy, he does have some crazy strength. Without him, the 14K Shenyong Club would not be able to do anything. It is impossible to develop. However, as the saying goes, Xiao He also succeeds and loses. His failure, coupled with Lian Xing's opportunity to attack, immediately turned into a mess. Bing Yaju, who was drinking in his bar, was still shocked by Chen Heilung's use of a rocket launcher in the downtown area. Although there have been many gun battles in Haojiang, this is the first time such an exaggeration has occurred. At the beginning of the conflict between Mo Luo Bing and Chen Heilung, Benjiaju was not very optimistic about Chen Heilung. After all, Mo Luo Bing played at home and naturally had a great advantage. Even if there was an occasional decline, he could slowly reverse it with his home court advantage. As long as it can keep up with the God of Wealth Dragon, it is very likely that the God of Wealth Dragon will not be able to hold on in the end. After all, if Haojiang continues to be in chaos, some big shots above will never allow it, and neither will the police officers and the authorities. Unexpectedly, Moro Binghe was actually knocked down by a rocket. He had heard many rumors before that Chen Heilong was extremely powerful in Southeast Asia, with several bases alone, and he had even wiped out many pirate organizations. But his business has nothing to do with Chen Heilong's business, so he always thought it was just false rumors. This kind of thing is very common on the road, and many of them are just to put money on their faces and build publicity. Now it seems that these so-called rumors are probably true. It is true that a strong dragon will not overwhelm a local snake. But with the arrival of such a dragon crossing the river, I am afraid that even a local snake like Moro Bing will have to give in. Brother Ju. Xiao Liao, who hurriedly walked in from outside the bar, interrupted his thinking. What's going on? In a hurry, the God of Fortune dragon fired another rocket. Benjiaju said half-jokingly. Moro Bing is dead, Xiao Liao said solemnly. What did you say? Benjiaju's voice immediately raised an octave. Moro Bing is dead. His throat was cut directly in the intensive care unit of the hospital. Hearing this, Benjiaju felt a little unreal. He had fought against an opponent for so many years and just said that he was going to die. It always made him feel that something was missing in his heart. After being stunned for a while, he asked. Moro Bing had so many younger brothers, but he couldn't leave any killers behind. How many killers were there? Ane. Xiao Liao shook his head and said with a bitter smile. The killer's techniques were extremely professional. Mo Luo Bing approached Mo Luo Bing pretending to be a doctor. After killing the person, he escaped from the hospital with all of Mo Luo Bing's bodyguards and young men. Not to mention Mo Luo Bing's young men, he didn't even know what the killer looked like. I don't know, I just know that he is a man, about 30 years old. There is almost no difference between knowing this information and not knowing it. This kind of killer who rushes out with a bunch of people is very old and frail. He is young and inexperienced, but there is only one age group that is suitable. As for who sent the killer, yes, I'm afraid everyone in the Haojiang who knows this. This makes Benjiaju couldn't help but admire Chen Heilong's ruthless determination in his heart. Brother Ju, if Moro Bing dies, his territory and troops will definitely be lost. His men are probably in chaos. Why don't we take the opportunity to take a bite? Benjiaju heard the words and glanced at Xiao Liao. Everyone knows who did Mo Luo Bing's death. If that person didn't say no, no one would dare to step in. If he did, he would be snatching food from the tiger's mouth and fighting with others. Go against it. Don't worry about things that don't belong to us. After that person finishes the work, let's bring gifts to visit and make friends. Don't be like Moro Bing and make enemies everywhere. When Xiao Liao heard this, he nodded with deep understanding. It was entirely his own fault that Mo Luo Bing would reach this point. If he hadn't deceived others first, he wouldn't have given up his life. On the other side, He Xian Yulankin and He Xian were drinking tea in the garden. After he persuaded Chen Heilong at the Lisboa Hotel to no avail, he came directly to He Xian. The reason why he did not go to the hospital first was because he had time to chat with Chen Heilong. It was too short. It only took 5 minutes from meeting to leaving. Going back to tell Mo Luo Bing so quickly that Kai Shenlong did not agree to the peace talks seemed to be too perfunctory and unproductive. It happened that he and He Xian had some business matters. If he wanted to talk, he drove over directly, planning to drink tea and talk about business before going to the hospital. This also showed that he spent a lot of time persuading, but there was nothing he could do if Chen Heilong disagreed. So Kai Shenlong refused without even mentioning the conditions? He Xian asked. You do not say. Yulankin curled his lips and said, Wealth God Dragon heard that I was acting as a middleman for Mo Luo Bing. He didn't ask any questions at all. He just said that Mo Luo Bing was too arrogant and clamored to trample him to death. Now that I knew I was afraid of asking him for peace, there was nothing so cheap in the world, so I refused directly and asked me to tell Morobing to prepare the coffin himself. Haha, it's normal. The god of wealth, dragon and wealth is so powerful. There are so many industries in Southeast Asia. It's not surprising that the compensation that Morobing can give is not rare. I made an estimate. He came to Haojiang during this period, including those in my casino. The cost is not a small amount, and it must all be counted on Morobing's head. It seems that Morobing is just worried about this. While he was talking, Brother Yulankin suddenly hurried over with a phone in hand. After Yulankin took the call, he looked stunned for a moment, then shook his head at Hexin and smiled bitterly. It's over. I just said that Morobing is having a hard time, and the younger brother below sent me a message saying that Morobing the doctor was cut and already dead. Although when he left the Lisboa hotel, he thought that Morobing would end up like this, but he didn't expect that it would come so quickly. He was afraid that when he went to have peace talks with Chen Hailung, the hospital, they started taking action there, with no intention of giving Morobing any chance to breathe. The god of wealth dragon is really ruthless in what he does, and the young man is very fierce, Yulankin said with emotion. How can a person stand firm in the world if he is not ruthless? Anyone who can reach the top is not ruthless and decisive. Anyone who is a little indecisive and soft-hearted will have been stepped down long ago. Yulankin nodded with deep sympathy. No matter if he was Hexin back then, he was still ruthless. Otherwise, how could he become a Haojiang casino tycoon? If he had been softer, I'm afraid the grass on his grave would be 2 meters high now. With at the same time, Chen Hailung also received a system task completion prompt. Congratulations to the host for completing the system task and entering Haojiang to kill Morobing. Get rewards, 40 Black Panther servants, doubled your talent and energy. After hearing the system prompt, Chen Hailung returned to the presidential suite on the top floor of the Lisboa Hotel and ordered the beast servants to watch the door. Without his order, no one can enter. After entering the room, the first reward he received was 40 black men. The younger brother of the panther servant. He has repeated this process many times, and there is nothing special. After summoning these panther servants, he called the Black Panther King in, and placed these 40 panther servants under the management of the Black Panther King. After the Black Panther King left with these newly summoned Black Panther servants, Chen Hailung continued to receive the highlight of the reward, and his talent and energy doubled. The moment he confirmed the receipt, he felt a warm current pouring into his mind. It was different compared to the pain he had felt when receiving talents or abilities in the past. Few times, the process of receiving this time made him feel extremely comfortable. It was as if he was soaking in warm water with just the right temperature, and his body was as light as if it had no weight. He has been doing this for a long time. As his power grew, he worked very hard and late at night. Many times, he even had food and accommodation in warehouses and factories. Others only saw his current achievements, but did not see the efforts behind him. The sequelae of these hard work made him occasionally, he would feel a dull pain in his brain. But this talent initiation was like giving his brain a comprehensive and deep relaxing massage, making him feel extremely light. Before he could finish enjoying it comfortably, this initiation, then it was over. This was the only time so far that he felt that the time of talent initiation was a little shorter. After the initiation was over and he opened his eyes, he found that his energy had increased a lot compared to before. This improvement was not like Niobe's talent can be seen by outsiders, but only he can feel it. What he feels now is like waking up naturally after sleeping and being blown by the morning breeze. Every cell in his body is full of excitement. His thinking has become extremely sharp, and he even has the feeling that he can go without sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. On the surface, this talent reward does not seem to mean much, but it is of great help to him. History: most of the big names on the internet have one thing in common, that is, being energetic. Being energetic is not as simple as being able to sleep less and stay up late than others, but to improve the acuity of thinking. It is like two people with different energy in the same job. At work, the longer a person with weak energy works at a time, the lower his efficiency will be. However, a person with high energy does not have this problem and can always work efficiently. The energetic person, because of his sharp thinking, can also find many problems during the work and solve them. Improvement. Besides, if you are energetic and can sleep for 5 hours a day, you can be active all day long. But if you are not energetic, you can still yawn continuously after sleeping for 8 hours? The gap between the two may not seem big at a single time, but over time, the energetic person will lose sight of the other person's taillights in terms of work experience. If you want to read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. The great men also accumulated little by little from scratch. The mediocre people are not efficient enough and cannot compare with their accumulation, so naturally it is difficult to compare. The feeling of replenishment brought by being full of energy makes Chen Hailung feel that he only needs to sleep for 3 hours a day to replenish all his energy. While he was feeling the different feelings brought about by being full of energy, Death Dragon and Shigui were discussing the next step at the entrance of Shenyong's society. Now that the boss is dead, should we continue to fight the god of fortune? Death Dragon said worriedly. Why don't you fight? Even if I fight to the last soldier, I will fight with that bastard to the end. Even if I can't beat him, I will bite off a piece of meat from him, Shigei said fiercely. Does it make sense to keep fighting like this? The boss is already dead, there is no chance of us winning. The Death Dragon has had 2 brushes with death. The first time was when Marobing's motorcade was attacked by rockets, and the second time was when he met a professional killer doctor in the hospital. Fortunately, he rushed a little slower. Otherwise, he would either have his throat cut or be shot to death with a firearm. He is completely frightened now, and does not want to go against Chen Hailung at all. If you can't win, don't fight? Did the boss die in vain? I want to avenge the boss. Revenge? How to take revenge? The god of wealth, Dragon and Kai Xiong is very powerful, and he acts like a man. If you go up, you will die. Do you want more brothers to accompany you to die together? While the two were arguing, a younger brother ran in covered in blood and shouted, Brother Long, Brother Gui, and the people from Lianxing are launching a massive attack on our territory. Our situation has been turned upside down. Brothers can't stand it anymore. Got it. Originally, Ma Yuobing's younger brothers relied on financial incentives to persist until now. Now that Ma Yuobing is dead, the Death Dragon and Shigei are not in the same opinion, and the people below are already in a panic. How can they be organized? Effective resistance. How many people did they send out? Death Dragon asked hurriedly. Everyone was mobilized, at least 4,000 to 5,000 people, and all the territory was washed away. The younger brother said with a sad face. Did you hear that? The Death Dragon shouted to Shigei. There are more people than us, and our boss is dead. What do you want the brothers to beat? Who will deal with the aftermath if the brothers are injured, you or me? If you don't have the guts, just say so. There's no need to talk to me so much. Anyway, I'm going to avenge the boss. After Shigei finished speaking, he took out the firearm and put it on his waist before striding out of the hall. You are the only one who is fucking loyal, right? Go and die. The Death Dragon spat fiercely in the direction Shigei left, and then immediately packed up the belongings in the hall and planned to run away. He finally saw that Chen Hailung was planning to kill them all. The boss was already dead. He has no interest in accompanying Tonko to perish. On the other side, after Chen Hailung experienced the benefits of being energetic, he was in a good mood and decided to take He Min to go shopping in the shopping district of Haojiang. This place in Haojiang, the shopping district of this city, is a comprehensive commercial complex that integrates food, drink, entertainment, shopping and leisure. Not only does it have a dining area that brings together delicacies from all over the world, but it also has a shopping area full of top-notch luxury goods, as well as various yoga spas and beauty treatments. Institution. As long as you have money here, you can enjoy top-level treatment like an emperor. This bag is perfect for you, whoever, wrap this up, Chen Hailung said to the service staff of the luxury store. Thank you, Brother Hailung. He Min was a little excited when she looked at the new bag. She had a very accurate understanding of her own position. Not only did she never compete with other women for favor, she also never took the initiative to ask Chen Heilung what he wanted. She would just give it to her. Then, she never wants anything even if she doesn't give it to her. Chen Heilung appreciates this very much, so now he likes to take her with him wherever he goes. This is the general knowledge. This skirt is good. One in each color according to her size. And the shirt. This one doesn't need so many colors, just white. Choose one that is one size larger than her size, and then choose one that is one size smaller than hers. When Chen Heilung took Yimin shopping, the disguised Shigue also came to the shopping district. The leader of Xingyong Club has been sending his younger brother to keep an eye on Chen Heilung secretly, so where Chen Heilung is not a secret at all to him. This time he came with a total of 2 guns, one long and one short, and 7 or 8 grenades. He knew that Chen Heilung was protected by many bodyguards, so he had no intention of leaving alive. If the firearms could not kill Chen Heilung, he planned to kill him. He fired a grenade and rushed over to die together. After arriving at the shopping district, he hid in the underground parking lot and waited quietly for Chen Heilung to appear. What are you going to eat tonight? In the underground garage, I heard Chen Heilung's voice coming from far away. He took out his gun and jumped out from a concrete pillar in the underground garage, ready to shoot. But the beast servant's younger brother, who had been paying close attention to the surroundings, had a particularly keen sense of danger. The moment he appeared, he took out his firearm faster than him. Before he could pull the trigger, dozens of guns rang out at the same time. Boom! 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 In an instant, Shigue was beaten into a sieve. He didn't have time to pull the trigger until he fell to the ground, and his eyes were fixed on Chen Heilung's direction. But Chen Heilung didn't even look at him. He was smiling and comforting Yimin, who was frightened by the gunshots. Shigue breathed his last breath unwillingly.